Greg, put your headset on. We've started, and you're not quite prepared for what it is that we're doing. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling well, thank you.
Are
feel
you
really good.
Are you ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, because you don't seem like you're ready.
You I was born ready. You know that.
You don't sound so great either.
Come on now.
In defense of Greg, the Shadow Show is always supposed to be a construct of the mind where people were getting makeup, where things were happening, and people could live and let live. And now you're just you want him to be ready, 8:55 on the dot, everything ready to go? Like, come on.
Thank you, Tony.
That is what it's supposed to be, but we don't do it that way. That's not how we've done the Shadow Show. I would love for the Shadow Show to just be a milling about where you feel like you're eavesdropping on us getting ready for the show, but that we've been working on that for a while without it succeeding yet. Like we've had some struggles in that area.
Whose fault is that?
Doesn't make it right. Should start at 9 sharp. I don't want to maraud in here and start telling you how to run your show, but should start on 9 on the button. 8:55 is an artifice. I don't know who it's supposed to impress, but it's just, it's early. Hurly-burly, early.
When you said your catchphrase doesn't make it right, it didn't apply there to anything that we were talking about.
I think it does.
No, well, go ahead and say what you were saying it in reference to, because you're not going to remember, because you didn't make any sense when you used it. You use a catchphrase just to use a catchphrase.
It doesn't make it right.
Doesn't make it right.
Yeah! The catchphrases, by the way, down to the top 15. Woo!
Unless we extend.
What's that?
You're going to extend.
That's the rumor. It's out of my control, but.
How many is it going to end up being, Chris? If you had to guess, the top 50 countdown of catchphrases is going to end up, by the time we get to the end, is going to be how many?
75.
That's the far outer reaches. I think the betting odds are 65, followed by 70, and 75 is a real long shot. Some people like to play a long shot. I do. Give me a 15-1.
Like calmly.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. By the way, Isla Grande was given a green light, and she's now trotting again, and she's going to be running soon, and hopefully by very late summer or more likely early fall, she's going to be running again, hopefully at Gulfstream. So,
Greg, what happened to Calmly? Glue factory or?
No, Calmly was sort of, we failed to sell her in auction, so we managed to have her impregnated.
Okay.
And she has delivered.
And then later killed.
She has delivered a beautiful baby horse.
Okay.
And so now, that's part of Calmly, meaning
right between the eyes.
Hopefully the income.
Quick and easy.
We don't kill horses.
Clark Spencer did it.
No. The glue factory is a
Shot
fallacy.
her right in the head. Blood everywhere. He's done it before.
Clark Spencer with a gun. Okay. All right.
Clark Spencer, a Clark Spencer joke.
What a visual.
Shooting a horse.
Does Clark Spencer own this horse with you as well?
Yes, he and I are partners in crime.
Killing
Literally.
horses.
Basketball. Basketball.
Basketball. Basketball is back, Jack. Time for our favorite winter sport. The summertime is over, so let's head down to the court. Time for the tip-off. Give me fast breaks on the attack. Will you shoot a three or take it to the rack? Basketball is back, Jack. It's a dream shake down in the post, or a killer cross you love the most. When the offense tries to run and gun, is it man-to-man or box and one? It's big plays and talking smack. That's how you know that basketball is back, Jack. Let me hear you say
Basketball. Basketball.
60 dunks and pick and rolls. And we're gonna watch it every day till they raise the Larry O. Hard fouls and hook shots, a dagger three and hacker shacks. If you say this game's the best, I'll say Zagak. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back. Basketball is back, Jack.
I mean, Jalen Brunson has as many turnovers in this series as assists and 82 points on 81 shots. You sure he's playing well? Like you're positive that Jalen Brunson is playing in a way that you feel. What do you, Tony? What do you?
Yeah, absolutely. He is playing well. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, you could help me out on this, but like, if my star player is doing the things in the big moments that I need him to do, I'm not really worried about his field goal percentage, right?
Yeah, and especially based on kind of the result of the first two games, absolutely. Last night, regardless of whether he shot well or shot poorly, they didn't play well offensively. You could see they weren't doing the things they had done not only in the first two games of the series, but over the 13-game winning streak that they've been on over the last 45, 46 days. They didn't play the same way, and so I would say they collectively didn't play well. But I don't think anyone is sitting here in New York thinking, oh, my God, Brunson, he hasn't been holding up his end of the bargain.
They never will do that to him. He's pretty immune there, but I wasn't just talking about his shooting. I said as many turnovers in this series as assists, and that was his best shooting game of the series. And, yes, there were other reasons because Nick's not named Brunson and Anunoby. This is from Law Murray, the NU. Missed 15 of the 16 shots in the fourth quarter, including 0 for 10 from three. What did you guys think was the biggest play in the game? You have to choose only one. Do we all have the same play that we'd choose? Zaz, what would you choose?
The Castle 3 with like 2:30 left in the game.
Bang!
I think maybe it went from a 3-point game to a 6-point game.
No, it was a four-point game to 7,
Okay.
and Wemby was at the back of the shot clock and sort of up in the air and just threw it, and from 30 feet away, Castle, who's not a great three-point shooter, made an important shot. Do any of you – I have another nominee. I think we all will have the other nominee.
Castle free throws were massive.
Okay, I'd go De'Aaron Fox, and this is the reason I do it, okay? These three games, there hasn't been a lot of difference between the teams, and all three of the games have been decided in the last 3 minutes. The reason Amin was asking for an apology is because the Knicks were better in the last 3 minutes of the first two games, and the Spurs looked inexperienced. They were ready to give away that game last night. Castle doesn't make that three. That roof caves in.
By the way, it was under 2 minutes left to hit the three. I was even off a little bit.
Yeah, if Castle doesn't hit that three, you've got a momentum and noise problem where the Spurs might collapse again because they look disjointed at the end of games, even at the end of that one. But this is the reason, though, that I want to remind you guys that we're consistently overstating the importance of coaching because in this particular case, the Knicks got exactly what they wanted, which is the Spurs are a little bit rattled, and it's De'Aaron Fox against Anunoby. It's the Knicks' best defender against the worst Spurs offensive player so far through the first three games of this series. He's not right. De'Aaron Fox does not look anything like he looked during the regular season. They trust him in that moment, but it's the shot they least want from the people on the floor because that's the worst matchup on the entire floor. De'Aaron Fox going against Anunoby and getting a mid-range jumper. There's not anything worse on the floor that the Spurs wouldn't want, and they won the game anyway, and they got the result they wanted, even though that's not the process that they wanted.
How can you say coaching is overrated?
Because the coaches put in that situation, Mitch Johnson with the bad result, or the bad process, got the good result, and Mike Brown with the good process got the bad result.
So because of one play, the coaching didn't matter?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that we consistently overstate it. To me, the most important play in the game, okay, Mike Brown got what he wanted, and it didn't matter.
The most important facet of the game was that the Spurs came out with the intention of getting Wemby the ball early and often and by the rim. That's not them just playing pickup basketball and say, let's try it. That's a coaching adjustment, Dan.
Yes, and in the last 10 seconds, that was long forgotten because the game was being decided in the last 10 seconds.
It was long forgotten in game 2, and it was long forgotten in game 1, and they lost those 2 games. Last night was the first time they really made a concentrated effort. We're going to get Wemby the ball by the rim. Everything is a paint touch. Everything's playing inside out. They did not play like that for the first 2 games. That's a coaching adjustment.
This is where I struggle, though, with the coaching stuff, all right? Because what you're saying certainly sounds legit, but we don't know that. Like, Mitch Johnson just realized after the first 2 games, we should get Wemby the ball by the rim. I would venture to guess he wanted to do that the first 2 games also. And, maybe what the Knicks were doing to counter it didn't allow them to get those actions.
No, I drew up the play for you guys yesterday where he needs to roll right there. He doesn't because in his mind, this is a good shot.
Right, Wemby's choice, right?
Wemby's choice in game 2. In game 3, guess what his choices were? Sounds like they were adjusted in some sort of way.
What do you guys do with this? This is through 11 quarters of the NBA Finals is when Law Murray, the NU, gave this stat.
You can just call him Law Murray. He was a writer for The Athletic. You don't have to keep saying the NU.
I like the NU part.
Through 11 quarters of the NBA Finals, the Spurs are outscoring the Knicks by 14 points when Jalen Brunson is on the floor, and the Knicks have outscored the Spurs by 24 points with Brunson off the floor.
Sounds like Brunson's really struggling, and he's underachieving, apparently.
Well, did you not just hear what I said?
Yeah, the Spurs. You read it. Go ahead and read it again.
He's making fun of us with that voice. He's doing that again.
The Spurs are outscoring the Knicks by 14 points when Brunson has been on the floor. The Knicks are outscoring the Spurs by 24 points with Brunson off the floor. The Spurs, that's not, those numbers are very small.
But what am I supposed to do with that information? So does that mean that the Knicks, if the Knicks don't play Jalen Brunson the rest of the series, they're going to win? They're going to win the series. What do I even do with that?
When this series, this is an oversimplification, okay? But when Wemby, statistically, is the best player on the floor, they win. And when he's not, they lose. Brunson hasn't been the key. Karl Anthony Towns has been the key to what is happening there because the Knicks aren't doing anything when Wemby is defending them. They're 9 for 41 when Wemby is defending them, and Karl Anthony Towns. The reason that the Knicks fan has been bothered by Karl Anthony Towns and hasn't trusted this Knicks team until the last 13 games is because they've been up and down like this all season. This has been a team that has been inconsistent and frustrating to Knicks fans. What do you think happens to the courtside fans who were recording history last night because they were so excited about the biggest game in New York sports history? Do they delete those videos this morning?
I couldn't believe how often I saw when the camera was showing Ben Stiller, and he's just there with his phone out recording.
Always recording.
Why? Are you going to go home and watch your recording? You're at the game.
He has had some tweets
You're there.
He's had some tweets of
I
game
don't
action
understand it.
go viral.
He's always recording.
That's what we do now. We don't experience something. We have to record it or it never
get it.
happens.
Coming from the guy that will not
Ridiculous.
let his 8-year-old daughter bat in softball without recording it. My
Okay.
dad does the thing where he's got just the camera open. He's not recording, but he thinks he's recording. And I let him know midway through the at-bat that you're not recording anything.
Okay, so I made a mistake, but my intention is good. The point is, fans who go to games can't just experience going to a game. You have to record it. You feel like if you don't record it, if somebody's not recording you at a game, it's as if you weren't even there.
Now, Ben Stiller, I would actually say, yeah, he goes home and he watches those clips. He absolutely does. He's a maniac. DJ Khaled, on the other hand, who was
I'm down on
texting
him.
the
I'm down
whole
on
night. His head looked like Carlos Boozer. It was just shoe polish up there. And he's texting the whole
I'm
night.
down
He
on
didn't
him.
look up one time at the game. He was just there for the vibes.
Yep.
And that was Fat Joe's +1. Can you believe that? All the people in the world, all the Knick fans in the world that Fat Joe. Jadakiss is right there.
Yep.
Nope, I'm going to go with DJ Khaled.
I'm so with you. He was on his phone the whole game. Every time the camera panned around him, DJ Khaled. And I thought DJ Khaled is this massive Heat fan. And you're there in the front row at the Knicks in the NBA Finals. Get out of here.
And then he would like cheer for the Knicks. He'd be in his phone.
Oh.
Something good for the Knicks.
What
Like,
a
yeah,
phony.
I'm a Knicks fan.
What
Get out of
a
here.
phony DJ Khaled.
Fraud.
I'm down on him.
Jimmy Johnson was there in a Knicks jersey. Mr.
Really?
Miami, yeah.
I liked that, though.
He's explained it on his social media. There's a World Wide West connection.
Yeah.
He's been a Knicks guy for a while.
Yeah, they supported him apparently when he won with the Cowboys, right? So he's supporting them now. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Who's they? Who's they supported him?
Leon Rose and Wesley Williams.
Wes was selling sneakers when they won in the as a Cowboy. What are you talking about?
Just telling you what Jimmy said.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's his truth. Honor it.
You're mad at Jimmy. You're not mad at me. You're mad at Jimmy.
I'm mad at you for believing Jimmy.
What happens to those videos of all those people that were recording that? They quietly deleted on the way home, correct? On the sad walk home, you quietly delete some of those videos. Why would you be watching those videos of that night? That is a total misery what ended up happening. You pay $10,000, $20,000 for a ticket, and that's how your night ends.
Dan, have you ever met a Knicks fan? Misery is their middle name. This is what they do. They wallow in it. I know because I was in a group chat. I had to hear this shit all night long, including, by the way, they're absolutely convinced that Adam Silver put the call in. My cousin accosted Adam Silver outside of Madison Square Garden. He just yelled at him, stop fixing the games. I said, what are you doing?
I love that.
What are
I
you
wish someone
doing?
recorded that.
That totally went over my
did.
head watching the game. I didn't think that the officiating was any kind of controversial outside of the official calling him Wemby in the official review. Like, I didn't know that you guys were that tight. You're friends. You give him his nickname when you go over to the
My
announcer's
son
table.
didn't like that either. He turned and goes, he's allowed to call him Wemby?
I found that odd. It was just very casual for the moment, but then I went to social media and Knicks fans were properly pissed at the officiating, and I was like, man, do I sound like that when I get jobbed?
The second half, the Spurs had a 24-8 free throw advantage for the game. They had 10 free throws more than the Knicks, 32-22. Can I get the Mike Brown sound after the game, because this is a posturing that always happens early in the series to see if you can get some calls later in the series. But Mike Brown was whimpering afterward about the officiating. Let's hear that sound, please.
Opportunities for fouls to be called to at least try to even the free throws out. Now, we didn't play good. San Antonio played great. We could have played better. There were a lot of things that we didn't do that we did in game 1 and game 2. But to go 24 free throw attempts in a second half, that's 48 for the game if you think about it the way that they called that second half, compared to 8. All the shots we took, we got fouled 4 times, roughly, for 8 free throw attempts. Again, I don't complain much. I never thought I'd see that in an NBA Finals game.
That's so lame. That is so lame. He ought to be complaining that other than Brunson and Anunoby, his whole team disappeared. Towns disappeared. They started off the fourth quarter 0 for 10 on threes. There's so many reasons that they lost at home that aren't the refereeing.
If you were waiting for Mike Brown's loser energy to make its debut in this series, you got it last night. You really did. You got it last night. First of all, try to even the free throws out. I'm sorry. Did I miss the memo where each team is supposed to foul the same amount of times and each team is supposed to get the same amount of free throws? I missed that notice. And you don't have to actually say they got 24 free throws in the second half, so if you make it out to a full 48-minute game, that'd be 48 free throws. No, you played a 48-minute game. You did, and the total was 32 because you make sure you don't mention the disparity in the first half, which was 16-8 in your favor. So you don't have to actually say what it would be. We saw what it was. That such loser energy from Mike Brown. And I'm going to tell you what else. Don't give me the whole Phil Jackson, Pat Riley, we're manipulating the officials. You think referees are tuned into the postgame? And like, I got to hear what Mike Brown thinks about how I did my job tonight. And then when Mike Brown is criticizing the officiating, the officials all of a sudden, they're like put into some type of trance where now next game, we have to even things out. Get the hell out of here. It is such loser energy.
I thought that all that was Brunson got 4 fouls, and Brown doesn't want that to happen again, and he's just going to defend his star guy. And they were in the bonus very early in the third and the fourth quarter. But while Brunson was out of the game, the Spurs didn't do anything while Brunson was out of the game. They allowed the Knicks to stay right with them while Brunson sat for, what was it? He sat like from the middle of the third quarter or like 4 or 5 minutes left in the third quarter till 9 minutes in the fourth quarter. That's a long time for him to be sitting. in that circumstance. And that's what I thought. That's all I thought Mike Brown was doing. And by the way, when it comes to coaches, like, it's one of the ways that they can control things that aren't controllable or feel like they are, to just go to a microphone. It's almost his job to do that, honestly. It's practically his job to go to a microphone and see if he can do anything at all to get one call in the next game.
Yeah, it's tough, though, when your star players say things like this. Brunson, we turned the ball over a lot. Also, we were fouling a lot, and we put him on the line 30 times. This is Karl Anthony Towns. When asked about the free throw discrepancy, he said, that ain't why we lost. We lost because we turned it over a bunch of times.
They hadn't lost a game in a month and a half. They had 13 consecutive wins, 12 of 13, or 11 of 13, by double figures. The first game they lose, we're out there talking about free throw disparity, loser energy.
Right. Did you ever hear about the law of averages? I mean, they were due to lose. And San Antonio is a damn good team. It should be 2-1. This is such a close series. It should be 2-1. The best player in the series is Wemby, and it's not even close. Brunson's second, but there's no competition there. Wemby was the best player last night, and that's one of the many reasons they won.
It is interesting how that's flipped now, where just from game 2 to game 3, he's right. Wembanyama is the best player in the series now, and we were crushing Wembanyama after game 2.
Well, he is the best player in the series. And usually in these moments, you expect the best player to look like the best player, and he didn't in the first 2 games. But when Karl Anthony Towns is quoted saying turnovers, they didn't lose because of turnovers last night. They didn't have that many turnovers last night. Like, the Spurs barely had any, but the Knicks didn't have that many turnovers.
They had 13 turnovers that led to 21 Spurs points.
Really sloppy.
The Spurs had 8 turnovers that led to 7 Knicks points, and that's the big discrepancy right there.
Wemby is their best player, but I thought Castle, especially early on, was immense.
He's so good
for San Antonio. And, you know, when I mentioned Castle, tremendous game, tough game too, hard points to come by. But if you want to complain about the officiating, I thought there were some egregious mistravels, even for the NBA, early on in that game. That's the only thing that took away, and both teams traveled. But I thought this was, like, especially bad. They let them just take so many stabs in that game. It jumped off the screen.
And Wemby's steps are so big. There was one play where he was driving in the paint, and it looked like he took 5 steps.
All right, you're right. I'm actually coming around on the officiating slant from the New York perspective because, and this has been a thing all season long, and maybe it's because he's so huge. Wemby, every time he sets a screen, 2 arms pushing a guy.
That was a big one in the chat last night,
Dude,
too. He's blocking. That's NFL blocking.
I put this in the chat like during the Western Conference Finals. Like, I had problems with SGA. I'm going to keep it real with you. I've had problems with the Wemby screen. A guy that big, and it's often against like a guy that's on the perimeter, so it's smaller. He fully extends both arms and pushes people on the screen. You're gigantic. Just set a screen. He shouldn't be allowed to do this.
That was every screen Kevin Garnett set his entire career.
I understand.
Every screen.
But
I'll leave the big ticket out of this.
This guy is bigger than we've ever seen in this sport. He already has so many natural advantages. And KG, for the time that he started his career, that's kind of like a slender, undersized big man in the NBA during that era. He needed to get the advantages. Wemby has already so many God-given advantages that he cannot fully extend his arms and be allowed to get away with that on guards.
Now, Mike, can I offer an alternate explanation? Wemby is so tall that if he were to set a regular screen, he's slapping meat against people left and right.
Yeah,
this is to create the buffer zone. It's almost like a divider in the urinal.
That.
Just say, hey, okay, I don't want my meat to hit you somewhere.
I'm glad that you mentioned that because I thought about that. They teach you to set the screens. Look, Pistol Pete taught me how to play basketball. That's why I don't carry. You set the screen, you guard your junk. It's like forming a wall in soccer.
Yeah, but Pistol Pete's junk versus Wemby's junk. Come on, Wemby's junk is...
It doesn't matter. He's got hands. He's still guarding the junk.
He's got huge junk. It just spills out everywhere.
He's got huge hands.
Is that what happened on the Brunson thing? Junk on the way?
Yeah, Brunson tried to get a fistful of the junk. You guys see that?
I hate that we're going to turn this into a conversation about the officiating just because Mike Brown is saying it. Because you guys are saying you're coming around to the New York perspective. We just quoted 2 players as saying that that's not what happened last night. and they both put their name on it, and they're both New York stars. And Karl Anthony Towns does a good amount of complaining about officiating almost at all times. It was one guy who put his name on complaints, and it was Mike Brown. That game, I don't think, should be something that comes down to the officiating conversationally after the game. Like that, I don't feel like that's going to be a big source of conversation throughout the league or throughout fandom if Mike Brown doesn't do that. Every fan base is going to complain about the officiating when their team loses. That's an emotional bias that's always going to be present. But this is not a story today if Mike Brown does not make it a story today by saying what it is that he said, saying, I'm really surprised to see this in the NBA Finals.
Dan, you're not tapped in. It was absolutely going to be a story. Everyone in that building was going nuts on every single call. I'm in a group chat with a bunch of Knicks fans. They wouldn't shut the hell up about it.
But
at one point, my cousin said, the only way we get a call is if we challenge. I said, you only have 2 challenges, so that's clearly not true.
They used one of them great, okay? Because Wemby's 4-pointer to make it an 11-point lead. Like, I didn't even see that Mitchell Robinson had been pushed into Wemby on that play. But what you're doing there is, yes, of course, in the New York chat, that's what's going to happen. It's what happens every game, anytime any team is losing, the local fan base complains about the referees.
But there are a lot of them, and many of them work in huge media positions, including the biggest name in sports media, Stephen A. Smith. He's a Knicks fan. And guess what? This is how we were talking about the manipulation of news and stuff, right? When the people tasked with giving you information about what happened walk into it with an implicit bias that they then allow that to craft the messaging. The rest of us who aren't in a Knicks fans group chat don't know any better. So, it sounds like the refs were really bad last night. Let me look up the numbers. What? 24 free throws to 8? Oh, my God, it's right. This is how media manipulation works, Dan. You're better than that. You should be more aware and more media literate. You're Dan Le Batard. Shame on you.
Usually what happens when the better team is down 0-2, they're more aggressive. They get more fouls because they're more desperate. But you mentioned Stephen A. Smith, and he's the middle of it. He's in the middle of it, going back and forth because Trump has now responded to him.
What do you say?
Trump was booed. Trump still using Sleepy Joe to refer to Biden while he is on camera falling asleep more than Joe Biden was ever on camera falling asleep. But let's go first to what it is that Stephen A. Smith, New York fans, what Stephen A. Smith said yesterday was, voicing an opinion a lot of New York fans had because they were inconvenienced. I don't want to go to the Trump sound first. I want to go to the Stephen A. Smith sound first from yesterday when it is that he said, basically, on behalf of New York fans, this is an enormous inconvenience to have the president, who's not a Knicks fan, he doesn't care about any of this, inconvenience all of the other Knicks fans that were at the game on one of the largest nights we've seen. Okay, we don't have the sound on Stephen A. Smith, but among the things that he said is that
he didn't want him there.
He just didn't want him there and went after him pretty hard, harder than he's gone after him on just about anything, which was kind of offensive to me that it would be traffic that would get Stephen A. Smith mad about Donald Trump's behavior. But let's go ahead. Donald Trump on a tarmac. He's awake here, and he's also standing here, and he just goes after Stephen A. Smith because the word got to him that he wasn't wanted at this game.
ESPN commentator Stephen A. Smith, who was talking about running for president, said he would blame you if the Knicks lost the game. How do you respond to that?
I think he's a nice guy, but you need a certain aptitude to run for president. You need a high IQ. I'm not sure that Stephen has that. I don't think he does, actually.
Thought about it for a second. I don't think he does.
Trump is tone deaf in this case. Like, somebody had to tell him that it might not be a good idea to go to this game in particular when your already low approval rating is lower than that in New York State and lower than that in Manhattan. Like, you didn't know you were going to be booed. You didn't know that Knicks fans weren't going to be upset because you going to the game caused their watch parties to be canceled, caused them to show up 2 hours before a game and get TSA airport type screening. It was going to be a massive inconvenience, and Trump that's news to Trump. You should have known all that. You shouldn't have gone to the game.
Now, Greg, how did you describe the reception he received when he was shown on the screen during the national anthem?
Roundly booed.
That's not how he interpreted it. He was like, oh, it was a lot of cheers. It was a great energy. I was like, what game was he at? Was he asleep during that time?
He said it was amazing. He said it was loud. He said it was
loud.
enthusiastic. Let's get to the sound here of Donald Trump hearing all that happened last night, much differently than everyone else heard it.
What did you think of the reception you got from the Knicks fans tonight?
I thought great. I mean, I thought it was amazing, actually. You mean when they had the camera on me? I thought it was very good, yeah. It was certainly amazing. It was. I think, mostly cheers. It was loud and it was very enthusiastic.
I'm going to be curious to see how Stephen A. handles this, because we've seen when Jaylen Brown goes after him, like he calls for the ISO play, and it's the first 10 minutes. And Stephen A. has, to many people's frustration, especially in that audience, has largely avoided direct criticisms of Donald Trump when it's more than deserved. And I know he's personalizing it, but for it to be the fear of a Knicks jinx or him being personally inconvenienced, that's where he decides to meet the moment. I'm certainly disappointed. And look, I don't think Donald Trump is of the IQ either, but he ain't wrong there. Like, let's stop making TV personalities president.
Wait. You're asking all the wrong questions. My question is this. Is Stephen A. going to use the loud voice, or is he going to use the quiet voice?
That one, which is how you know that he's super serious, and it's just a joke that this is going to be the time he chooses to be.
Donald Trump doesn't want to make an enemy out of me.
The quote from Stephen A. is, "This president has no business showing up in New York City. I'm dead serious. It is selfish. It is narcissistic. It is ridiculous that he is coming to this game." Also ridiculous is the idea that adult human beings think that there's a jinx involved with someone coming to a game.
I mean, it's preposterous, Dan Le Batard. The Knicks hadn't lost in 45 days, and then 45 showed up. You think that's a coincidence?
What do you think is going to happen there? Because I've wondered what it's like for Stephen A. Smith to wander the earth at this stage in life, always fighting with everybody. It's just not an energy I would want in my life and not even if it came with all of the stuff that he has. I don't want to be fighting with everybody all the time.
He recently had a whole thing on his radio show. I think it was on Friday, either Thursday or Friday last week, where he talked about how this last year of his life has been very upsetting to him, and everything he's gone through. That he has had a very hard time.
This damn reaping what I sow. He's not fighting with everybody. He is certainly made it a point to avoid one big fight, and not a difficult one given the approval numbers. So he's avoided it, and now he's called out directly, been insulted directly. So, tag, you're in.
There is some coded language. I mean, these are fourth grade insults that the president of the United States keeps going to with low IQ and what was the other word that he used there? Yeah, aptitude. It's just some coded language from the president of the United States that's wildly unbecoming. But it is interesting that the time that Stephen A. decides to do this is saying things about the president where he's like, nobody wants you there. And if you talk to Knicks fans, they don't want Stephen A. there either, because they don't like him very much, because he's been very bandwagon about this Knicks team, and then shows up and celebrates them in full force and takes credit for the recent winning streak because of how he ripped them after they lost that game to Atlanta the last time they lost before this.
I mean, do I have to read out my resume? Hollis, Queens, native, work covering high school basketball right here in the city. You could ask Cameron Giles and Mason Betha, who I covered. Now y'all want to act like I can't come around. You're despicable.
To his credit, he said that he'd totally be fine with not getting a championship ring.
I shouldn't get a champion. I could not, because I don't feel like I contributed enough, to be honest with you.
What? Why would he get a championship ring?
That was just a joke they were doing. They were just
No. This was an actual segment.
That's a real quote.
That
that
was
was a real
yesterday
thing.
on First Take.
That was a real thing.
He
And-
said
and
he
Greg,
does not believe
you're
he
not
deserves
wrong.
one.
You're not wrong, Greg. But it's pro wrestling.
That was real.
But Stephen A., for someone who engages in pro wrestling a lot himself, does seem to genuinely, get upset when insults like that are personal get thrown his way. I'm curious to see how this plays out.
He won't want to make an enemy out of me, Mike. I'm telling you right now. Let's not talk about your approval rating. Let's compare your ratings with my ratings.
Where do you think this series is? Because the fear ratchets up when you lose the home game up 2-0. They thought the whole thing was going to be easy because they were making the last 6 weeks look awfully easy. And the Spurs were the better team all season. They were the more consistent team all season, and they have the best player. Where does the fear level rise after you lose that way? The advantage you've had in this series, the only advantage that you've had in this series if you're the Knicks, is the last 3 minutes of the games. You've been better in 2 of them than you were in the last one, and now the fear rises on you. And if they lose this next one, all of a sudden what had been belief turns into sort of a scared hope. It doesn't usually go as easily as the Knicks have made it look for 5.5 weeks, where you're the last time they were down in a series was against Atlanta 2-1. And the way that they came back against Atlanta, they've been feeding off of the fuel and the fumes of that for 6 weeks.
I think the winner of Game 4 wins the series, and I think it's probably going to be San Antonio. They're the better team with the best player, and I think that last night was so huge. And I don't think that I think the Knicks right now are poised to be only the 6th team in NBA history to blow a 2-0 lead in the finals and lose.
It would be the first ever when winning the 2 on the road.
Correct. Yeah, first ever in that scenario. You're right. And if I were a Knicks fan, I'd be pretty worried right now.
It's only one game, though.
Yeah.
Well, you've been pretty wrong here because
About every game.
You thought that if the Spurs lost Game 2, the series was over,
Yeah.
and you also thought that the Knicks were going to throttle
Yeah.
the Spurs last night.
Yeah, I've been wrong about every game this series, okay? But as it turns out, in the long run, I may end up being right because I thought it was going to be Spurs in 7 and a classic series, and right now, it feels like we might have a classic series on our hands.
You can't be right if it goes 7 and the Spurs win in 7.
I'm very right then.
No, you said that if they lost Game 2, that the series was over. You said if the Spurs lost Game 2, the series was over. If it goes Game 7 and the Spurs win, that is not the series being
Hold on
over
a second.
after the first 2.
Okay, but hold on a second. If I say before the series starts that we're going to get a classic series and the Spurs are going to win in 7, and the Spurs come back from an 0-2 deficit and they win in 7, simple question, Dan Le Batard. Was I right or wrong?
Doesn't make it right.
Doesn't make it right because 2 games in, you said it was over in favor of the Knicks.
Okay, so again, before the series starts, if I say Spurs in 7 in a classic series and the Spurs come back 0-2 first time ever, win in 7, you're telling me I was wrong?
Doesn't make it right.
No, I have to agree with Zaz.
Yeah.
And I don't all that often, but in this case, he's right. I mean, it's the definition of a great series if the Spurs come back from 0-2 and win in 7. It's epic. It's history making.
But he had the opposite prediction after Game 2.
Times change.
Nobody will remember that either.
Very good.
They'll remember Zaz saying Spurs in 7. And
Classic
that'll be
series.
It. Yeah, that'll be it.
Very good.
3 really good games, by the way.
The Spurs fan definitely wakes up this morning saying we should be up 2-1.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
We talked about this last night on the alley-oop. The idea that if you're the Spurs, you say, wait a second, we were up double digits in the second half in Game 1. Game 2, we had the opportunity to win at the end of the game.
They think they should be on the verge of a sweep tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yep.
Shout out to Kenny Atkinson.
I think it's the rare series where both teams think they should be up 2-1.
I don't disagree. One thing that we were saying yesterday before this game was there is one thing that can take this series up a notch. It's been all good vibes, no real adversity for New York. There's no animosity between these teams. And now Wemby's starting to become a villain, and they feel jobbed by the reps, and San Antonio gets a game. And look, there's now videos. All the joy that Sam Morril was telling us about New Yorkers are happier and being nicer to one another. I saw plenty of videos after that game that would suggest that the honeymoon is over.
This is Nick on Knicks fan time?
Yeah, but there's plenty of video of Spurs fans out there getting jumped. So this is what has happened to the city. Just a little bit of adversity, and it's all going to hell. Now we got a special series, potentially, Amin.
Wow. So for the audio audience, it is just a brawl in the middle of the city. There's a bunch of cops watching a bunch of dudes beat each other up.
Why are they just watching?
Including one guy who's beating... There's a guy who's beating another guy with a bus stop sign. You know the blue ones that have the bus on it? He climbed it somehow, removed it, climbed down, and now smacking the hell out of somebody with it.
We told you this would happen.
I'm watching that and imagining Zaslow sauntering through that crowd with a Heat jersey on.
I have to admit, it's one of the first things that went through my mind last night, how stupid an idea it was of me to actually challenge Greg Cody, who was challenging me to walk through 7th Avenue outside the Garden wearing a Heat shirt, and I had my chest puffed out here saying, I will definitely do it, no problem, who cares? It was the first thing that came to my mind last night. What a stupid idea that was.
Yeah, it really was. Well, the good news is
I already admitted it was stupid. You don't need to compound it.
I'm just saying the $100 I offered to pay you if you did that
wasn't worth it.
Is now going to charity, the Greg Cody Miller Lite Foundation. So it's all going to be put to good use.
I love that charity. Zaz, respectfully, and if you have children listening right now on live,
go on.
Earmuffs, they would fuck you up, man. Yeah. Like, not even if win or lose, just you wearing a T-shirt of another team.
They were tearing Spurs jerseys off the fans in the streets last night. They were doing that.
There is no part of these people that are fun-loving or civilized. Don't get fooled by Sam Morril dancing with an unhoused woman, slow dancing with an unhoused woman.
Homeless.
There is no part of these people that is friendly or civilized. They are going to burn the city down one way or another. Either it's because they're celebrating a win or they are mourning a loss.
It was a remarkably stupid idea that I had that I'm glad I did not go through with.
I don't think that people are prepared for what it is that's going to happen in the streets of New York City. This is just a primer. This is 3 games in, and it's the first home game of the finals. There are going to be at least a couple of more in New York if New York loses some games here, right? They might win in San Antonio, I suppose, in 5 games. But the likelihood is that there are going to be 2 games left in New York City. That's the first one, and that's what was happening in the street. Also, Wemby should have gotten a flagrant one for what he did to Brunson, and I wouldn't be surprised if, I would be, if the officials
They would never.
Yeah, they're not.
You don't even finish it. Come on, you're crazy.
He's slapping meat against people left and right.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Very curious to get the thoughts from last night from our favorite Spurs correspondent and also our only Spurs correspondent. Michelle Beadle is with us, and I want all of her thoughts. But first, I want her reaction to the criticisms in the first hour that Wemby is a dirty player who pushes off on all his picks to protect his junk and deserves a flagrant one for what he did to Jalen Brunson after elbowing Naz Reid in the face. Your thoughts on Wemby being a dirty player, Michelle, and welcome.
Thank you for having me. If dirty means awesome, yeah, behind that 100%. Also, a room full of dudes angry that another dude protects his junk just feels weird to me, guys. I don't really love that for you. And if you don't like it, do something about it. I don't think he's a dirty player. I think he's learning the game. We're watching a man evolve in real time, ladies and gentlemen, and this is science, and I love every second of it. Also, Josh Hart, flagrant. He could have also been thrown out, so I don't know what we're talking about.
Luke Cornett almost killed him.
Excuse me?
Luke Cornett was a heat-seeking miss on Josh Hart, knowing that he wasn't watching and completely ran through
was
to try
trying
to
to
get the ball.
stop.
Trying to get the then stop.
God, New York Knicks fans, could you just whine more? Just cry harder. Let's see if we can cry harder and make this entire thing an absolute abomination. You guys are up 2-1. What are we even complaining about right now? This is going to be a tough battle. You can blame a lot of factors on why the Knicks lost last night. I think we all have our theories. I, for one, love it and hope it all gets repeated in Game 4. I hope James Dolan invites all kinds of fun people to Game 4. Please, please do.
Cornette is like a cruise ship. He doesn't come with brakes. Like the Cornette, when he starts moving, there's no chance that he's going to be able to stop.
Also, Josh Hart was on some bullshit. The ball went through the basket. He just wanted to grab it and do some stuff.
Board.
He was feeding. There was no board.
The ball was coming through.
No,
the
it was clear. Like he
He's on
started
his
crashing
way.
after it went through the cylinder.
Oh,
he was just trying to feed off the audience, and he was doing some bullshit.
Whose side are you on?
Cornette ran through him. I'm on the sports
What side
fan
are you
side.
on?
Whose side are you on?
I'm playing both sides.
What are you on?
How did you
right side.
How did you feel after the first two games? Because surely your confidence was shaken.
It was. I've been sulking since Friday. I drank heavily on Saturday, which I don't do, and I thought that was the only way out of how I felt. I was just angry. I was angry at everybody. I was bummed, which means I'm basically a lying hypocrite because I went into this like, guys, whatever happens, it's going to be a great experience. Turns out I do not believe that at all, and going down 0-2 at home made me a worse person. So I feel a little better today. I feel like we have a series. I'm going to go to Game 5. I'm just. It's a lot, guys. It takes years off of your life when your team is in something like this. I forgot what this feels like. I like it, but I hate it. That's where I am today.
Were you confused by the first two games and the fact that Karl Anthony Towns looked like a better player than Wembanyama in the first two games?
Yeah, I was very confused. I think everybody who's been watching was probably confused by that. Cat is a very interesting dude, man. Like when he's hot, he's a reminder of how great he actually can be. And then he'll have these other games you're like, oh yeah, that's the Cat that everybody rips on all the time. I kind of feel for the guy every once in a while, but to lose both, I think, was painful. And obviously we've all ad nauseum discussed the way Game 2 ended and the turnover and it was a welcome to the league moment for a very young Wemby. Every great star is going to have it. He should probably sit down and speak with LeBron on what it's like to go from the GOAT to the most hated overnight, because that's sort of what happens when you're great. But I didn't like it. I didn't like losing 2 at home. It just something about that made the whole thing feel like it was over, and I don't want to walk around with that feeling. So thank goodness for last night, and hopefully tomorrow.
Michelle, I missed it. What happened in the end of Game 2?
You know what? Your shirt's stupid, and I hate you. So whatever. What was your question?
Well, your shirt's a grandma shirt.
Yeah.
This shirt is fashionable. You don't know anything.
Toy Story ass shirt.
By the way, are we excited about World Cup? When are we going to do that? Can I be a representative for a nation?
Yeah, what do you got?
Austria?
She's got Italy.
I don't want-
How are they doing?
Shut up, dude. I don't have Italy for this. We know how that works. I'll pick one. Let me get back to you on that. Probably like Belgium or something.
So you want to be our World Cup correspondent on one particular team? Okay, we'll allow it.
But I won't go to any games. I'll just be.
Okay. Let's play the sound for Michelle of Mike Brown after the game complaining about the officiating.
Opportunities for fouls to be called to at least try to even the free throws out. Now, we didn't play good. San Antonio played great. We could have played better. There were a lot of things that we didn't do that we did in game 1 and game 2. But to go 24 free throw attempts in a second half, that's 48 for the game if you think about it the way that they called that second half, compared to 8. All the shots we took, we got fouled 4 times, roughly, for 8 free throw attempts. Again, I don't complain much. I never thought I'd see that in an NBA Finals game.
It's the most loser energy from a coach in NBA Finals I've ever heard.
It's not. By the way, that was like the equivalent of analytically. Like he just threw an analytically. We didn't get enough free throws. I don't love it. I love Mike Brown. It's also weird on the same day that Sam Presti went off for like 100 minutes crying about stuff. Again, cry harder, boys. Like this is weird to me. I don't like the energy they're putting out there. It's weird that the Spurs are involved in all of the whining in some capacity. I don't know. Maybe we're in people's heads. Call it what you want. But there's no. I checked the brochure for basketball. There's no rule that says both teams have to have equal amount of free throws. Like, that's not even a thing. Can we stop doing that? Just stop doing
Zaz was wondering if there was a memo that he had missed.
I didn't get it.
You're saying there is no such memo. There is not a handbook.
The brochure. There is a brochure, but it's not in it.
Yeah, it's not in it. There's no asterisk. There's no follow-up to the brochure like an amendment was. No, it's just not a guarantee. I checked it. I've double-checked it. I know my resources now. Yeah, there's nothing about that. So I don't get the complaint, but we will never stop hearing it. What is that? Is that the brochure? Oh, it's a sticker book. Oh, sticker book. See?
Cute.
I got you guys.
It's a World Cup sticker book. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Like you don't know.
Michelle, what were your observations from last night? What did you think was most interesting about what happened last night? Because I was saying that the 3 games in this series have just come down to the last 3 minutes, and Amin's been saying for a while that the Spurs don't have playoff experience, and usually that shows up, and usually that'll show up in the last 3 minutes.
God, I hate this. I actually agree with him.
Wait.
Gross to do.
Wait,
yeah,
can we clip that and then replay it like 100 times later?
Clip it. I hate it. But he's right. It's right. And I think game 2 was a really big part of that because let's think about all 3 games. Spurs came out on top very quickly. A lot of points on the board. And that's why I got a little nervous last night. I was like, I've seen this movie before. I don't love this. But the difference was there was no letting up. I think Steph Castle is just an absolute gift. And I'm so happy he wears the uniform of the team I love. And he's right. I mean, if game 2, those last 3 minutes isn't a pretty telling story on experience or lack thereof, and I hate to do that because I don't want to do that to them, but they don't have any. I mean, they're having it in real time. And I think last night they didn't let go of the rope, and it was, I mean, you can't get a more hostile environment. Like that was a crazy scene in New York City yesterday, and I'm sure today will be just as loud. So the experience is being earned slowly but surely. Whether they have enough time in this series to sort of make it all work together, I don't know yet. But it was nice to see last night.
What was the moment, Michelle, as a Spurs fan, that you were most excited about when it happened last night?
I think the Steph Castle. Actually, you know what? No, the De'Aaron Fox shot. Because up until that point, I think we were all like, and I can vouch for my threads, like NBA friends threads. People were so mad at De'Aaron Fox. He makes $60 million. Like, you know what? That one shot was worth like $58 million as far as I was concerned last night. So that was a big moment as well. Wait, what?
So he still owes 2.
He owes 2. That's right. He's got time. He's got time. We can take a whole game with good De'Aaron Fox.
Did you or have you lost faith or trust in De'Aaron Fox? Because you've been watching them all year, and I have been too. I've been telling people this is not De'Aaron Fox. He looks slower, and this is not the way he's played since he got there.
No, he has these spurts, and I don't know. I'm sure he's not 100%. Nobody is. Love that cliche. Yeah, I've been off and on the train. I mean, since the beginning. Look, there were periods of the regular season where the idea that you would trade him was very loud. Like to the point where I was like, maybe we should trade him. So he does sort of get that cat treatment in the hot and cold of it all. But then in Game 7 against OKC, again, I thought he was vital to just kind of calm the room down. I'm not ready to give up on De'Aaron Fox yet. I do feel like optimistically, well, okay, if that doesn't work out, there's a nice young man behind him and Dylan Harper that's ready to go. So we're in good hands in that regard, but not yet, because I do think he's still got experience. I'm going to kill everybody I work with right now.
Which celebrity did they show sitting on Celebrity Row last night came across as the biggest front runner to, and why was it DJ Khaled?
Is he not? And correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen in Miami. Is he not Miami? Thought he
Yes.
was Miami.
Yeah.
Also, is there anything more obnoxious than a Rolex handoff courtside where seats were costing $500,000? Like everything about that last night, it made me feel like I lived in Texas right now and I hate the elites. That's how I felt. They were making me feel that, and I don't want to feel that. I want to be an elite, damn it. But last night I was like, put the celebrities away. I don't care anymore. I get it. Timothy Chalamet loves the Knicks. Like the only people I want to see more of are Benson and Stabler sitting together courtside. And a matter of fact, Tina Fey and Tracy Morgan. Those two pairings, yes. Everybody else, I don't care. Enough. But DJ Khaled, no.
We will talk a lot, and we always talk a lot about offense, but I thought the Spurs won that game last night with defense, even though it was a higher scoring game than the previous two. And this is why I think it. The Knicks had 18 assists last night, and this is from Knicks Film School. This was the fewest assists the Knicks have had this postseason, and they only had fewer assists once this regular season. It was also their lowest assist to field goal ratio of both the regular and postseason. Of the 83 total games played so far this playoffs, the winning team has had 18 or fewer assists only 3 times. They were playing iso ball last night. They were forced into iso ball last night. And, Brunson in this series is, he's turning the ball over at a rate that's substantive.
He's it was like old school, like the old version of the Knicks where Brunson takes the 25 shots, and it's not virtually impossible to win that way, but it's not what got them those 13 straight wins. So it was very interesting to see. Look, this is kind of what the Spurs tried to figure out and did, I think, a pretty good job with SGA. Like, you can't shut them down. They're all-time greats, but they're focusing on him and they're frustrating him and they're kind of reverting back to what they used to do. God, you really hate to see it, Really hate to see it.
Speaking of things you hate to see, whose side do you take in Trump versus Stephen A. Smith?
My God. It's literally like, would you rather die of asphyxiation or would you rather just be punched in the face till you die? Like, these are horrible, horrible choices. I've never had, it's a Sophie's choice of epic proportions. These two gentlemen calling each other stupid is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life. The irony is perfect.
Put it on the poll. Worst way to die, asphyxiation or being punched in the face until you're dead?
So, Michelle, you have not embraced Trump as San Antonio's new good luck charm then? Am I hearing that correctly?
I mean, he's welcome to come, but we didn't vote for him all either. So, go ahead, buddy. He's not as hated, though, because New York's hated him since the 70s. Like,
right.
We can't compete.
That's true. That's true. Two quick questions, Michelle. First, at any point in your life, have you been referred to for the nickname the Fifth Beatle?
No.
Okay, let's start that. Let's start that because the Beatles used to be a very popular group in the 1960s. You're too young to remember.
They're litigious.
There was a phrase, the Fifth Beatle. That's right, unlike the Monkees. Second question: the winner of Game 4 wins the series flat out. Yes or no?
Yes. Okay, I'll go yes. God, why do I do that? Why do I do this? This is jinxing everything. Oh, I hate you guys for making me say that. But
Unless the Spurs lose, in which case it's going to be no, right?
Yeah, I'm free to make changes to my whatever. I can't even speak anymore.
She's the host of the NBA show Run It Back with Chandler Parsons and Lou Williams. She's our favorite Spurs correspondent. Do you have anything else for your nemesis here, Amin?
Yeah. When do you get in? Because we're going to hang out, right?
Oh, yeah, you want to come over and swim? We can have a swim party.
Are you for real?
Yeah, I'll be at my brother's there. Let's make this a thing.
Oh, man.
Look like you're all ready wearing your bathing suit.
Well, damn, man.
See you later, Michelle. Thank you for stopping by and congratulations.
Bye, guys.
He looks like a fancy fish.
Synchronized swimmer.
I want to delight Greg Cody here by playing something that we played yesterday that he has not heard. Jason Benetti gave us a bonus out of nowhere Greg Cody catchphrase. Let's see if we get Greg Cody's catchphrases ready because I want to update his top 75 catchphrases of all time.
Not yet.
Are you ready for Jason Benetti? He used
yes.
another one of yours, and let's hear your ranking and how you feel about this one. Let's see if you laugh so much that you cough.
Tigers offense has started to cook here in Tampa. They're going to leave going, what, we break a window on the way out of here.
That's great. He did that. The cadence, the delivery was very good. It didn't seem to make much sense. I couldn't fit it into what he was talking about. But what, do we break a window? The delivery was just pristine.
What, we break a window?
Great job, Jason. Thank you for that.
Love him like a pet.
I do love him like a pet.
Yeah, your inner monologue just said that.
That's why I said it, because I heard myself thinking.
Very good.
Very good.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Are we starting on number 60 or are we starting on number 50? Where are we
No,
starting?
we're starting on number 60. Right now, for the time being, it's a top 60 countdown.
And remember, we've gotten to the point now when he rattles through these, he almost passes out. You can take a breath. Like, we don't want you to die.
Right.
Take a breath if you need to.
Although, if he were to die,
the numbies would go up.
That's the way to go up.
Well, it's not just.
That show would be viral.
Wait a minute.
I'm dying on my podcast, not this one.
Yeah, he's said that many times.
Okay.
He's also made me promise that the week after he passes, we release an episode.
Gotta eat a peck of dirt before you die.
Peck of dirt. That's right. Nana Doogie.
I know that's right. I'm you.
You keep agreeing with your inner monologue.
Yeah, ain't no log in it.
Your
Save that.
Your inner monologue is speaking on behalf of you. You don't have to agree with it. It's
Trailers for
For
sale.
sale, rent. Hey, rooms to let 50 cents. Jinx.
Hot in here.
Put a Lobo's mint under your pillow and dream big. Friendly reminder that Clark Spence is a horse murderer. He looks the part. If we were to set up a lineup of people that would shoot horses for fun, Clark Spencer, top of the heap.
number 60, Greg.
Len Pasquarelli up there, too.
Wow.
Ray Rotto, got my eye on you.
I do want to step back for a second here because Greg Cody said that he doesn't want to die on this podcast. He wants to die on his podcast.
You don't get to choose.
And that's correct.
I think I do.
And no, you don't. You don't get to choose there. And your son has said that it would be good for numbers. That's not what I was going to say. Yeah, that is what you said. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Douche or no douche? Guy who calls numbers numbies. What I was saying, though, is that as you go through this list on our show, it's not for ratings. I believe that your father, if I gave him his choice on preferred ways to go, instead of asphyxiation or being punched in the face till his death, high on the list would be while reading his catchphrases to an international audience. Why are you shadowboxing?
Seemed like the thing to do.
Got to stay on your toes.
Got to be on your toes in this business.
You're sitting.
I know, but I'm metaphorically on my toes.
Number 60.
Number 60, I'm fuller than Vern Fuller. 59, where's my click, click? 58, hey, Butterfinger. 57, punt. 56, Scranton. 55, I'm busier than a one-armed paper hanger. 54, George up. George out. 53, I'm the kind of guy that 52, balling the jack. 51, hey, with the monkeys, baby. 50, thank you, Billy. 49, I love him like a pet. 48, who made it a salad? 47, we're rolling now, huh? 46, your brain beating me. 45, let's go States. 44, driver comfort is paramount. 43, dummy up, save up. 42, catches catch can. 41, doesn't make it right. 40, so on and so forth. 39, very good. 38, the Little League theory. 37, nice hat, asshole. 36, the others, they all learn from me. 35, don't go showering to try to please me. 34, look at that jerk. 33, it's like a packing house in here. 32, would you learn? 31. Hee-haw 3. Ba-dap. 30. I'm not going to take a quiz. 29. Sassafras. 28. What did we break a window? 27. Hello. 26. Who won? 25. Trailers for sale or rent. 24. You got to eat a peck of dirt before you die. 23. 3 words. We are the Lobos. 22. You're going to go to Buffalo with Bernie Parmalee. 21. Rappy Cack. 20. Another crisis solved. 19. Nice chatting with you. 18. He ain't heavy. He's my blank. 17. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. 16. Here we go. The 2 new ones now.
Ooh, you almost gave it up.
Hold on.
17 is great. Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
I don't appreciate it.
It makes Zaz furious every time, but it makes it makes Tony so happy. Tony is rarely as radiant as he is when right in Zaz's face, Cody, with no knowledge of one of Zaz's signature phrases, changes it, co-ops it, makes it his own, and dare I say, Tony thinks it's better.
It's absolutely better.
It's not better.
It's absolutely better.
You can't just take the awesome things I say and throw hay in front of it and say it's better.
You say them in your voice. He sings them.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Zaz, let me tell you something. A great poet named Sean Carter once said, "You made it a hot line. He made it a hot song."
Wow. There you go.
Look into what else he said.
I agree with that.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Yep, that's mine now.
Looks right at me when he says it. It's insulting.
Yeah.
He stares you down in a way. And Tony, when I'm watching Tony as it happens, it's not just that Cody is singing in your face.
Yeah, because Tony can't fight his own battles, so he feels like
Fight
Greg
my own
is
battles. What are you
putting
talking
me
about?
down.
I put you
so,
down every single time we have a
he's
battle.
like, yeah, get him, Greg.
You haven't beaten me in a battle once.
Okay.
You got cucked on a catchphrase.
Greg Cody is serenading Zaz with a stolen song. That's insulting enough. But more insulting is the fact that the group thinks that he's bettered one of Zaz's signature catchphrases. Zaz has fewer. He doesn't go with 70 catchphrases. Zaz has maybe 6 or 7, and that's one of them, and it's high on the list, and Greg has stolen it, and he sings it, and you guys like it better.
The way I see it is Greg Cody is posting up Zaz on the low block. He's posting him down, right? He's got him pinned, and I'm here dribbling the ball, and I'm like, I got to give the ball to Greg here. So I feed him down low. Greg hits him with the drop step over like a Wemby elbow and then slams it on.
The way I see it, Tony, is you're sitting on the end of the bench with your warm-ups on because you never get in the game, and you're rooting for someone else on your team to do the dirty work.
I don't want to give away a secret, but I've also been told that Zaz's wife much prefers, hey, that's what I'm talking about.
The question I wanted to ask you, Cody,
Dick.
because I recognize all of the phrases. Sassafras, I have never heard you use, and I don't know the context for when it is you do use it. I don't know what sassafras means.
Sassafras.
I think it's a form of, it's got something to do with root beer.
What?
I think it's got something to do with the
You
root
think?
beer drink. How would you
But
say I use
sarsaparilla.
sassafras?
You use sassafras when you're doing something and you can't, like, if you're trying to open something,
It's
if
a
something's
frustration.
locked,
Yes.
it's like, sassafras.
How is it that you can explain his catchphrase better than him, and he just
Root beer.
confused sassafras with sarsaparilla?
Right, yeah.
Sassafras is like when he's exasperated, I can't do something. Like,
It's exasperation.
sassafras.
When is the last?
Sassafras.
When is the last time you said, "Hey, that's what I'm talking about"?
Oh, I say it all the time.
That's one of the things he'll bust out on a cruise when the drink package is flowing. We'll be walking down those long hallways and just inexplicably, hey, that's what I'm talking about.
And it fits almost any occasion. It's an
occasion.
It's an affirmative.
Affirmative.
When you sing, hey, that's what I'm talking about. Life is good. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Look at this. Look at they're bringing a lobster and a filet mignon. to my
And that's
table
what
on a
I'm
brisket.
talking about.
Exactly. Thank you.
Put it on the poll. Do you know what sarsaparilla is? Is sarsaparilla extinct? You can't go and order sarsaparilla. When did sarsaparilla go? It must be extinct, right?
No, it's still around. You just got to go into a saloon with the swinging doors.
Yeah, the Batwing doors.
When did sarsaparilla go extinct? And I don't even know. I know what sarsaparilla is supposed to be. I don't know what it tastes like. It's got fizz.
I thought it was a music festival.
It's root berry.
Do you guys know what sarsaparilla tastes like?
Sure.
What does it taste like?
Like root beer.
Yeah, trying to tell you. The others, they all learn from it.
But root beer tastes like root beer.
Well, so does sarsaparilla. And sassafras.
Sassafras is actually a plant, Dan.
Thank you.
That's what.
Thank you.
That's what they make root beer from.
You're welcome.
Really?
The root of a sassafras.
Number 16.
Number 16. Who let a pet?
That's when someone farts, right?
Right. Yes. Harking back to my childhood.
I don't understand that.
We've learned that pet is some sort of French version of fart.
Right.
To let a pet.
And my ancestry is French Canadian. So my dad, in my family growing up, if I did a sound that was regrettable, my dad would say, "Who let a pet?"
And now my daughter says it.
Yes.
Put it on the poll. Did the French Wemby let a pet the first 2 games of this series? I've never understood that phrase. The first time I heard him use it around the house, I asked him the question of like, what does that mean? What is that? Why? And he couldn't explain it. It's just that let rhymes with pet, right?
It's a family tradition.
But it doesn't make any sense. Like
Yes,
what?
it does.
What?
Because if you Google
Further away.
If you Google French to English, okay, French fart or English, the word fart in French is péter, like P-E-T-R-E,
Right, but-
I believe it's spelled.
Right,
I'm
but
not positive.
you learned that a week ago when Yeti looked it up.
I learned
you
it more than a
used
week
pet
ago.
for decades without knowing what it meant.
Correct, that's correct. I had never investigated the etymology. I never put 2 and 2
It
together.
says here
that it
in
might be
French, the noun fart is un pet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't lying. Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Guys, this is how
Yeah.
inheritance works. I don't know if you guys know this. You don't question, hey, Dad, hey, Grandpa, what is it that you just take it and you say, I shall cherish it and use it as my own and pass it on to my progeny who shall pass it on to their progeny afterward.
Thank
That's
you.
how that works, Zaz.
That's right.
Maybe if you weren't getting beaten by your kids in wrestling or whatever the hell, you wouldn't have this problem.
Never lost.
I mean, nailed it.
Zaz, is it pronounced in French pet or PT? How is it pronounced?
Yeah, well, there's several different ways. One is un pet, another one is pete, which is spelled like the word Peter.
Oh, okay. I thought it was R-E, but it is E-R. Okay.
Number 15.
I
We
think
just
you're
called it a
both
pet.
pronouncing it wrong. I think everyone here is pronouncing it wrong. What's number 15?
Call up Wemby.
I don't think it was PT. I'll tell you that.
Number 15. Good on ya.
That's a classic.
That is a classic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a strong second single off the album.
Good on ya. Another one, he'll just say at any random time.
The Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody
With.
is your exclusive home for the catchphrases, the breaking news of what the catchphrase revelations are.
I'm not so sure you can keep calling it the exclusive home.
It's the revelation.
It's the flagship, but it's got a network.
No, but he never.
You're an affiliate.
He never reveals anything here first.
That's
it's
correct.
always revealed there first. It's the reason to listen to the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody.
Yeah, I maintain you don't know what exclusivity means, though.
Well,
I get his point.
If you get the exclusive, if I report something exclusively now and then it ends up on ESPN or Fox 10 hours from now, I had the exclusive.
There you
Right.
go.
Yeah,
All right.
you're aggregating what I have
Well, both.
reported.
Yes.
That kind of thing.
It seems to me that the Brendan Sorsby situation, if you do not know this situation, the Texas Tech quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the country, a legitimate prospect who has NFL credentials, and Texas Tech has gotten good at all sports. They're spending money on all sports, and they were in the playoffs last year in football with perhaps the best team they've ever had. I know they had a team that beat Texas one time that Michael Crabtree was on, but I think that's about as good, about as well as Texas Tech can play football last year, and they're trying to build off of the momentum of that. Sorsby has a gambling problem, and he gambled on previous teams and made thousands of bets and then went to rehab after it was uncovered, not beforehand. And so people wonder whether it was PR or whether he genuinely sought help because he knew he needed help. The consensus is, when I can't get the consensus on just about anything, everyone in college football seems to be mad about this, and the only people that agree that Sorsby should be playing football next year for Texas Tech seem to be the judge who ruled in his favor and Sorsby. Everyone else is pissed off that the integrity of the sport can be smeared in a way that makes it so crazy that in 2026, you've arrived at gambling not only being normalized throughout our country and the world, but what has also been normalized is used to be that if a player did this, he never played again, period. Like, if this is such an egregious crime that if you bet on sports this way, you are simply banned. And a judge ruled in his favor, and now you have the entire sport is clucking, saying, how is this allowed?
Didn't Pete Rose lose his entire livelihood for this?
That's what I was going to say.
His entire livelihood.
For doing the exact same equivalent, the exact same thing in baseball, Pete Rose was shamed and ostracized, and that followed him to the grave. And to this day, he is not in the Hall of Fame, the all-time hits leader, not in the Hall of Fame because of this very thing. And now this kid gets to continue playing because a judge who, by all accounts, is a big Texas Tech fan, rules in his favor. It's absolutely, it's shameful. The Texas Tech red-faced Raiders should be ashamed of themselves, and this kid should not be playing college football ever again.
I'll be honest, and I'm not embarrassed to say it because this is the current state of college athletics. I don't understand how anything works. And what I mean by that is, it just seems if you're not happy with something that the NCAA is ruling, you get to just go to court.
Yeah.
That's right.
And whatever the judge says is what, like, I'm not allowed to play college football for a 9th year? I'm going to go see what this judge has. Yes, you can play a 9th year.
It's the illusion of order. It's a toothless
I don't
organization.
understand.
But it's a toothless organization. It always has been. For some reason, the institutions have decided to follow its rules, but it isn't any good at enforcement, and it doesn't have any power. And now that all the rules are changing, everything has caved in because, of course, the court system, which is also flawed, by the way, the court system is more powerful than the NCAA, which is toothless.
Absolutely toothless. They don't win court cases, and if you lose, you appeal, and you'll win that one. Josh Pate had a good take on this. Like,
if I lose a game, by the way, can I go to court and appeal the game, and maybe the judge, like, can the judge overturn games?
No.
Oh.
So far. Anyways, but Josh Pate's take on this was, like, you feel like a dummy if you ever self-reported any violations under the NCAA banner. Miami gave up an ACC championship game that would have been against FSU, and they self-reported during the whole Nevin Shapiro thing. I feel like a dope for doing any of that. This institution has always been toothless. They actually have no real power. This is a dark day, though, for the sport because there is one hard rule in athletics. We haven't seen Terry Rozier, and he was, by the accounts, doing something knowingly but not placing the bet himself, right? You do not alter bets when you're on your team. You don't place a bet on your team. You don't influence a game with gambling hanging over it. And that seems to be a pretty good rule. He placed plenty of bets when he was at Indiana. Plenty. And for him to be able to still play, what is he? He's going to miss the first 2 games.
2 games, yeah.
I mean, this is this is not allowed in the pro ranks. So in college, Dan, gambling was always just, I mean, you want beyond third rail. And for this to go this way, that's why you're seeing all the schools react this way. Nebraska and Georgia and different conferences saying, we're not going to play them. There's legit talks about boycotting Texas Tech.
Do we have the judge's decision? I'd love to read exactly his opinion, why he felt like Sorber should be allowed to play.
There are a couple of things here that I wanted to get to because I don't believe when Mike says that that in professional sports, this is something that's a hard and fast rule. Yes, because professional sports have governing bodies that can actually have teeth when they bite. The other thing, though, that Greg Cody said, Texas Tech should be ashamed of itself. Are you kidding me? They got a quarterback. Like, what are you talking about? All that matters is, do we have a quarterback? Do we have someone who gives us a chance to win games? Like, get your moralities out of here, all of them. This quarterback gives us a chance, a better chance than we would have without this quarterback. That's the standard. There's no shame around that standard because this is a sort of amateurized professional football, but with fewer rules that mean anything than professional football.
Well, I'll come to Greg's defense for a second in that regard. Like, okay, yes, the athletics department feels that way. They need a quarterback. But, like, when does the university president step in and say, hey, this can't be the way our school is represented?
I hear you, Zaz, but I got to counter because I have the judge's opinion right here, and he makes a pretty solid case. He said, quote, that Sorsby demonstrated that he will suffer a probable, imminent, and irreparable injury if he cannot play. The judge said Sorsby would miss out on the coaching, camaraderie, and training and wouldn't be able to build necessary skills to help himself and Texas Tech's team if he didn't receive the injunction. How can you argue with that, Zaz?
I also think the third point that he brought up in his defense was that he turned to wagering as a means of medicating his own anxiety.
Who among us?
That he didn't have anxiety from wagering, that wagering was his cure for his own anxiety. And Dan, you mentioned something about the other professional sports having governing bodies that have teeth. Why is that? Because they're collectively bargain sports. And the longer that the NCAA, the administrators, and all the business behind it continue to refuse to collectively bargain this sport, you're going to have things like this happen.
Very good. All right, halftime here at the DLS show. I'm here with 10-Day Tony. Tony got a great start, really aggressive out the gates. Great defensive effort from Zazzle, though, about his catchphrase. What'd you think?
Yeah, it was kind of a dirty move, right? I didn't really like where he was going. He had a good start to the show, and then all of a sudden attacks me kind of out of nowhere. A little heavy-handed. I thought there was a flagrant, called on that. We went to review, ended up not being a flagrant, so I'm gonna have to come out a little bit more aggressive in the second half, make sure that he feels my presence, especially down low. I thought I had set up a perfect thing, and then he switched it on me, and I didn't realize it until it was too late. So going out in second half, we're gonna make that happen and be real aggressive.
Then in the second quarter, we got a great presentation there by Michelle Beadle. She came out guns firing. She said whoever wins Game 4 will win the NBA Finals. What do you think out there?
I liked it, except when you brought up that it would flip if the Spurs won, which of course she's one of the lead propagandists for the galactic fascism of San Antonio Spurs Nation, which again I'm against as I have been stating. So look, I take everything that Michelle says with kind of a grain of salt because I know everything is a little bit biased. She doesn't see the evil in Wemby's eye. She likes the evil in Wemby's eye, of course. Why wouldn't she? She's minister of propaganda over there. So Michelle is nice, but I know where she stands.
Coming up in the second half, we got Adam Pally, very funny guy, big-time Knicks fan. What are you looking forward to asking him?
They do a podcast about staying alive, which I think is a funny premise because they've partied so much. We've partied together many different times after multiple different things. So I want to see if some of his party stories line up with some of our party stories that we've had in Cleveland, in Milwaukee, and in a lot of different places. So the most random place that he's partied, because I feel like Cleveland and Milwaukee, we've dominated some places that have not been too party friendly. So I'd like to see where he's been partying.
Mike, Richard, Legs, back to you.
Nick, before we let you talk about the Steelers, you're in luck because we have the Love Doctor. The Love Doctor is here. He is ready. He is in his office right now. Dr. Greg Cody getting everybody ready for Mother's Day this weekend. And we have questions. The Love Doctor is going to have the answers. Who's up first?
I know a lot of people are going to come to you and they're going to want to know, how do you keep it interesting? Me, I'm not interested in interesting. So how do you keep it predictable? How do you keep it ho-hum? How do you just let it just be?
Was that Jason Tatum asking that question?
Young lady, you are my kind of gal. That's my lane. That's my lane of romance. I invented predictable. Nobody has perfected the art of dull routine like yours truly. As a matter of fact, little inside information here, my wife and I schedule our naughty time months in advance, like doctor's appointments. Quite often, she'll have to cancel because she said something came up. Unfortunately, sometimes I'll have to cancel because something didn't come up. That kind of thing.
It's a good look for us.
Do we have another question for the Love Doctor here after such great advice?
With Chris listening.
Oh, we're doing it, baby.
What are you guys doing, man?
Oh, you want question number 2?
Yeah, let's go question number 2.
Oh, yeah, Greg. Hey, man, I need your help, man. So I'm out of town for Mother's Day, trying to figure out what can I get my girl for Mother's Day in another city.
Oh, wow. Buddy, I'm worried about this. Not one, but 2 of the Love Doctor's marriages began rending like cheap fabric when Greg was either out of town at a sporting event or away at a doctoral conference. And the exes were doing the clandestine bumpy bump behind my back. Jack, I suggest you get your girl what you'd never expect, a private eye to keep an eye on her randy ass.
You know about that randy ass, Nick?
I don't like this at all.
Thank you, Love Doctor. Don't go anywhere. We may go back to you. Appreciate you.
I don't like this at all.
Somehow the least embarrassing Cody on today's show.
Wait till Nick finds out that Chris, with Greg sitting nearby, admitted about a half an hour ago that when he's having a hard time becoming aroused, he thinks of his wife's twin sister to get in the mood.
It was a shocking revelation.
That's what happened, Nick.
Shocking.
That happened.
Yeah, he did.
No, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day.
Karl Anthony Towns has not yet scored in the fourth quarter of the finals.
And he's your MVP, please.
Happy 87th birthday to Dick Vitale.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
We mentioned that Adam Pally was going to be on with us, the Mindy Project, Happy Endings, the Sonic the Hedgehog series. He also does a podcast, Staying Alive, with Adam Pally and John Gabris. It's about health and wellness, which is not something I associate with him. I don't associate health and wellness with Adam Pally because he lives hard. He has famously lived hard. Have you slept, Adam? Are you in bad shape? Because you're a Knicks fan, and I imagine you went into last night with a certain feeling, and now you sort of feel the opposite of whatever that feeling was. How are you? Good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Dan. I'm okay. I'm okay. I kind of felt yesterday, I think a lot of New Yorkers felt that it was a bit of a trap going in. Like, you know, things were not leading up in our direction. You had the chaos of the president. You had the fact that our team was staying in the hotel and not their own houses. It was just a trap game to me. And I haven't lost any confidence. I haven't. There's some things I'd like to see go better, but I feel like we're in a good position.
How did you feel about Trump being at the game?
Pass.
Really?
No. I just don't want any smoke. I mean, I think people probably know my political leaning.
They got him.
That was quick.
He knew it. He said, I didn't try to. And Dan, of course, had to press and wouldn't let it just slide. And now he's out. See? You happy?
He can't pass on that question. You can't. You can't. You got to have.
Oh, I could do. Oh, Dan, I'm sorry. I could do anything I want.
Yeah.
Damn, you figured that out.
I think we
like
forgot
this
about
guy.
that. I mean, I could literally leave with a push of a button right now.
Is that what that happened?
So
just now?
yeah, I'd like to pass because I think everyone knows how I feel about it, and I do blame the loss on the chaos. And Karl Anthony Towns hasn't scored in the fourth quarter.
Who is the Nick that you get most frustrated with? Is it Karl Anthony Towns or is it somebody else?
It's not Karl. I think Karl gets. Karl's an amazing player. I mean, like, I feel like any other era, any other person, and he's an all-time Nick. I get frustrated with Bridges. Like, and not because of the picks. It's just the inconsistency is wild. And, like, you know, like, what happened? What happened to him last night between the two games? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that can make you frustrated.
Are there any celebrities at the game last night that you've seen, you're like, I'm a much bigger fan than them. I deserve to be there?
That's a great question. Thank you. Actually, I didn't recognize many celebrities last night, and I think even the celebs were kind of priced out of the game. When you look at like who was on the front row, it was mostly like it was mostly like the dads that are go to my kids' school, private schools in New York. It's like hedge fund dudes and jewelry salesmen. You know, it's like I didn't really recognize a lot of the people in the crowd. I mean, obviously you had like Turturro and Stiller and Timmy in the what was that movie with the Timmy looked like Despicable Me 3 last night.
Oh, he looked like he was just like Vector.
He had the Vector fit on. But yeah, like those guys I saw, but I was kind of bummed that there weren't more New York celebs that you would normally see at the game because obviously it was like bought up by like uber rich people, and unfortunately celebrities aren't uber rich anymore.
It's funny because there were 2 tickets on Celebrity Row that were sold for $1 million. And to his point, the people who got it were Gibson Dunn Crutcher LLP and the private equity firm Veritas Capital. What says sports more than Gibson Dunn Crutcher LLP?
No, exactly. The one thing that is good about those tickets, I will say, just to defend my Knicks again, is that those were auctioned for charity for the Garden of Dreams. So I'll give those $1 million tickets a slide.
Anti-charity, Dan?
Good job, Dan.
But Dan is anti-charity. He's told me that many times, actually. He said that he's also anti-taxes, anti-charity. Dan doesn't like to pay anybody anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's truth. He doesn't tip. I had a long conversation with him about his philosophy on valets. He's like, well, their job is getting the car. Why do I have to give them extra money when they bring? I'm like, Dan, it's anyway. What was the question?
Gibson Dunn Crutcher LLP.
Oh, yeah.
You're not gonna. I'm not anti-charity. I'm anti-Gibson Dunn Crutcher LLP.
Giving $1 million to charity?
No, I agree. I think that it kind of sucked the vibe last night, and I think we'll have a return to it. I think I missed the watch parties. I love the chaos of it, and I think last night was just set up. It was just too much, and we'll see what happens in the next game. I don't think we can play the same way that we did in the second half for a full game. I would be really surprised.
Adam, this is a potential halftime show, in my opinion. Who do you think would win a 2-round boxing match between Spike Lee and Timothée Chalamet?
Are we talking? Great question. I thought about this a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, are we talking? What's the age? Is Spike his age now?
Yes,
and is
yes,
Timmy his
as
age
is.
now?
Yes, and Stiller is the referee, if that matters.
I mean, Spike is over 70.
Oh.
It doesn't matter.
No,
I'm
he's-
asking
Yeah,
you
as is,
a
you
question.
have
the right
to.
thing.
Yeah, but as is, you have to go Timmy. I mean, he's 27 versus a 70-year-old. I think if Spike was, Mookie age, I think we'd have way more of a fight. But Timmy's long. Lanky, a little
That's
lanky. True. So I think he's a longer reach, maybe.
Yep.
And also Timmy grew up on 40th Street in Hell's Kitchen. I think people don't give Timmy enough. He didn't just become a Kardashian. The dude was dancing on the subway. My guy's from the city.
I want to show you these fights here in the streets of New York after last night's game
Dan,
here.
why?
Yeah.
Why?
Well,
why?
because
Did you
this
lose
is
a bet
just
on it?
getting.
Why do you have to see them?
This is just getting started. This is going to get a lot worse over the
God.
next few games.
No,
It's
right?
the kind of show we do here, Adam.
No, it's not going to get worse. This is all frustration on. First of all, this all seems staged to me. This all seems.
Hold on, a cop's about to come in with an uppercut.
This
if you
is
wait.
not staged in any way.
This seems
is
AI. This is AI. This
Yeah.
looks like Miami fans.
Cops are
This look like
watching.
Miami
Doing
Heat.
nothing, the cops.
This looks like an AI thing. They took a bunch of Miami Heat fans and they put Knicks jerseys on them. I don't believe anything I see here. This is not my fans.
You know how I
And
know
you know
it's
what?
not AI? Because one guy's hitting another guy with a bus stop sign. And I don't think any artificial intelligence could figure out that a New Yorker would get the bus stop sign and use that as a weapon.
That's how I know it's AI, because the first thing a New Yorker would use is the barricade.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. In a New York riot, is the first thing a rioter will use as a weapon the barricade? Mike Ryan has been wanting to ask you a question for 11 years.
Yeah, Adam, I'm a huge fan because I was introduced to you by your appearance on the Late Late Show when you had an opportunity to fill in as guest host, and there was a blizzard, and it was the most captivating TV I had ever seen in my entire life. And I'm curious. I'm curious to get inside your mind a little bit because that was a huge opportunity. I imagine part of you was gunning for that job, and the blizzard comes and ruins everything. What was the driving force behind the weirdness behind that show? Was that just you coping because your dream had been cast aside by the weather?
That's a great question. Thank you so much. I thought about this a lot. Unfortunately, that show that they let me host the Late Late Show and they gave me a crack at it, and I similarly to anything I do in my career and in my job is I only know one way to do it, kind of, which is the way I would do it, and so I tried a little to conform to what a talk show would be, but even with the blizzard, it was going to be that way even if there wasn't a blizzard, because that's the way that I work and that's what I find funny. So it's like 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, because I truly don't know how to put anything out into the world. That's not just like who I am.
That interview with Martellus Bennett is probably one of the greatest sports interviews ever made. Did you find your counterpoint in one in another person there? Did you even know what you were getting into with Martellus?
Yeah, I knew Martellus Bennett. I mean, I'm a football fan. You know, I like sports, and so I knew that he's really good on camera, and I knew that he had a sense of humor. I think I pushed him a little too far when I asked him like second question, like how big of a dick is Jay Cutler, and I think that like threw him off, probably because the answer is like huge.
I imagine you're perpetually frustrated by sports coverage because of how irreverent you are, and you don't see a lot of it in situations like that. There's genuflecting before the Martellus Bennetts of the world.
True. I mean, I think that like sometimes sports could serve. I mean, obviously we have to do the dance, you know, because there's integrity on the line and money on the line, and like you know you have to do the dance. But I think sometimes, I mean, look at what happens when the players ask the players questions, right? Like sometimes, like, did you see that media day thing yesterday where Karl Anthony Towns was asked a question by like a rookie point guard on like the Bullets or something, or the Bullets, the Wizards, and
You're fine.
and he answered like he was like super honest and was basically like, you know, Jimmy Butler, you know, and like I'm gonna win a championship and Jimmy Butler's not. Like no one got that answer out of him except the other player asking the brunt, like the question. I think sports could be served a little bit by people being like, you know, everyone says Jay Cutler's a huge, you know, not great to be around. Is that true? Like, you know, and I mean, I'm bagging on Jay Cutler, you know, because he is awful. But I think that it could go for anybody. It could go for anybody.
Adam, you had the opportunity to star in two different projects that are kind of foundational things. One is The Mandalorian, which is a Star Wars thing, and you had one of the great scenes, you and Sudeikis. The other one was Mel Brooks' History of the World Part 2. Which one of those things was more of a pinch me moment for you?
Ooh, they were equal. I mean, I think the being on this, being in, I have the, I'm staring at my
Scout Trooper.
No, my Grogu that they sent me after I keep him kind of in my window, but I dressed him up, and he's wearing a dog collar and a yarmulke. But I think Star Wars was I just, you know, I mean you're a huge Star Wars head, right?
I am.
Like I've listened to your pod and stuff. Like you're like an enormous dork.
Well,
and
that started as a compliment. And
that is a compliment. You're a huge nerd.
Yeah. Okay. Nerd's better than
it's
dork.
an enormous compliment. I could never invest my time in something so fake. And I think that's amazing that you do that.
Definitely
you know?
turning into not a compliment.
No, these are all compliments. You know, especially you have this huge NBA career and stuff, and yet you still have time to pour into something that has no meaning. Anyway, it's incredible. It's impressive. But yeah, Star Wars was cool, and also that was directed. That episode was directed by Taika Waititi, who's like one of my best friends in the business, and the funniest guy. So it really just felt like me and Sudeikis were hanging out on like it didn't feel real until we saw it, you know.
Is that how you pronounce his name? You're friends with him. Yeah, I'm asking because it seems like you know,
Maybe
but
we
I've
were saying
always
the
heard
White Titty?
Yeah. Or is that just a you?
Yeah, that's how I mean, you want to try it?
Nah, I think it's a TT, but titty works.
Okay. Titty.
Tatas.
You told Ike Barinholtz on his podcast that you would do basically anything to have the Knicks win a championship, including but not limited to drinking your own urine.
Well, that's for pulled out of context. obviously. Yeah, I would. I mean, the question was like, what would you do for a Knicks championship? And I think, yeah, I mean, I think I could get a cup down, a shot maybe. I don't know if I could do like a Camelback, but I could get down a little to secure a W.
Yeah. You'd want it chilled, right? You don't want it warm.
Ooh, I actually think you want it room temp.
Really? Okay.
Or body temp, whatever.
Put it on the poll. If you drink your own urine, do you want it to be warm or cold?
On the rocks.
Like, sometimes like a chilled whiskey sometimes is gross.
I want the big cube.
Warm
the big
or
cube.
on the rock?
Yeah.
Big cube.
Like an old-fashioned.
What was taken out of context? What did I take out of context? You're saying I took something out of context. I didn't take anything out of context.
Where's your producer? He's yelling at me. Danny's yelling at me. Is anyone going to step in?
What did I take out of context? You said
I'm being bullied. I'm being bullied live on air by the host.
You said that you would drink your own urine for the Knicks to win a championship. That's how badly you want them to win a championship. Let me circle back around on the Trump question you wouldn't answer. I give you one or the other, but you can only choose one or the other. The Knicks win the championship or Donald Trump is no longer president?
I think I'm having a heart attack. I have to go to the hospital.
He's the host of Staying Alive with Adam Pally and John Gabris from Smartless Media. Why do you do that podcast? What made you decide to choose health and wellness as a topic in the comedy space? Not a lot of people are doing that one.
I think I've lived a hard life, as you said. I not a hard life, but I like to get after it, and I have kids now and a family, and I think like a lot of us, I don't really want to die before too soon. I'd like to hold that off a little bit, and so my interests have changed to kind of things that I can do to prolong my life. And I've found out that a lot of people feel that way. So it was a natural way to start talking to friends of mine.
And you do it with one of your best friends, if not your best friend. What have you learned while doing it?
I've learned that I am not healthy, that I was never healthy, that I don't know how to exercise or eat. And then I've also learned from working with my best friend that that's okay, and I think a lot of people don't, and it's just about effort. If you can just make one good choice a day, that will compound, and soon it'll be 2 good choices, and soon it'll be 3 good choices, and then pretty soon most of the choices you make during the day will be good.
You should know, Adam, that Mike Ryan, back when we were at ESPN, was dying to get you to come in and host the show with us, and for whatever reason, ESPN never allowed it to happen. So your career has since
so shocking.
Your career has since blown up, but the invitation is open if you want to come down here at any point. I know you're in Miami sometimes. So.
I love Miami. I would love to do that. Thank you so much.
Good talking to you. No,
you heard Zaz. You gotta get out of here.
I don't. I think he's sincere. You thought that was a no. You thought that was a polite celebrity. You thought that.
No, I was dead serious, and I will call you.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Adam. Yeah. Good talking to you. Staying Alive podcast. You should check it out because he's doing different things in the space. Why, Tony, are you staring at Zaz?
He thinks that I'm the one who has to leave my seat for Adam, and that's just not
Adam's
going to
come in, hang out with the boys. Zaz got to go. It's a Greg Cody Tuesday. Obviously, Greg Cody's got to stay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adam. Good talking to you.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you, guys. Later.
So this is happening around Giannis now, and I've been around the Heat organization long enough here in town to understand that some of the things that are happening that aren't being spoken about are interesting. So you've got Ira Winderman and Ethan Skolnick are both saying that the Heat usually will privately shut down trade rumors to reporters when they know they won't get the guy. That hasn't happened this time. And Bill Simmons says, I feel like there's going to be a big trade soon. He says, Giannis is my guess. It'll probably be after Game 4, before Game 5. Don't usually teams avoid doing that sort of stuff
bad form
during the finals?
That was when they had a real commish, though.
David Stern's America, there was an embargo on any sort of transaction being consummated during the NBA Finals. They didn't want to take any of the attention away from the crown jewel of our season. However, Adam Silver is a much more lenient kind of commissioner, so who knows? Maybe Giannis gets traded to the Spurs in the middle of those finals.
You think there's a single team that is worried what Adam Silver is going to think if they make the trade right now?
He's a nothing.
No, but if you're the Heat, let's say he's going to the Heat. If you're the Heat, why would you want to be overshadowed by the finals? Why not wait a week and a half and get the entire spotlight to yourself?
Oh, I don't think the Heat care about that. I think the
Why
Heat,
wouldn't they?
if the team on the other end says we're ready to make a deal, they're like, oh, let's do it. Why did not we want all the spotlight? Like they just want to get the deal done.
Yeah, but if they think they're going to lose that deal in a week and a half, yes.
They don't risk it.
Oh.
Let me play for you some sound of Adam Silver last night talking about Donald Trump. I want to get the thoughts of the group on this because this is a respect for the office that's not being shown by the person who's in the office. And so I'm getting a little tired of people respecting the office when it's being desecrated by the person who's in the office. But here's Adam Silver being public relations schmarmy.
I found out because Jim Dolan invited him to the game, and he said yes, and he's welcome to be here. I think that what makes sports so special, especially when there's so much that divides people, is it's something that we have in common, and we should look for those things that we have in common and build off that. And I'll also say about President Trump, you know, I've been with the league for a long time. I ran NBA Entertainment years ago. He did an I Love Kids game spot with us. He was a fixture at NBA at Madison Square Garden. You guys remember, well, all of you, when you played here, not Draymond, but back in the old days, he had courtside seats. He was here all the time. He was at draft, so he's a genuine Knicks fan. And so, yes, there's some inconvenience to the fans here, but one looking around this arena, it's packed. So people listen. They came early. They got through whatever extra security, which is necessary. So, as I said, I think we should be using sports to create more of a sense of community with people.
I mean, he's the most milquetoast commissioner in the history of sports.
But what's he supposed to do, right? He's not going to intentionally be polarizing. He has to be conciliatory. He has to say exactly what he said just for public relations purposes.
I think he was fine up until the part, you know, where he says, look, sports is supposed to connect and it's supposed to bring people together. I thought that was all right out of the playbook. When he starts reading the bona fides of Donald Trump as a Knicks fan, I'm like, okay, you don't have to polish
he's a genuine fan. You think Trump can name more than one Knick?
I know he knows Jalen Brunson.
Genuine fan.
Yeah, but the thing is, so I had two friends. I had my cousin and one of my best friends was at the game last night.
There's the gay one.
They both took the subway in. The subway takes you to Penn Station. They were instructed to leave Penn Station in order to get in. They had to walk from basically 34th Street all the way down to 6th Avenue, right by Macy's, Herald Square, then down a block, and that's where the line to get into Madison Square Garden started 2.5 hours before game time.
There were horror stories about people, we had to go walk here, and then they told us to go here, and they told us to go here, and then they told us we have no idea where you're supposed to go.
It was not a great situation, and like I said, this was hours before game time. Having said that, my expectation was when we were going to start at 8:30 p.m. the broadcast, I thought that lower bowl was going to be half empty. It was packed. Everybody got the message, and they got in there one way or another because everyone knew it's going to be a zoo.
Dan always points out who Adam Silver actually works for, so he has to be political in that sense. I also thought he did a little bit extra. But another thing that was hanging over this was these finals were airing on ABC. We all know what's going on between this administration and that network. I thought the network went out of its way to not really show Donald Trump. What happened on the broadcaster and the national anthem was muted compared to some of the videos that we saw inside the arena. So I do think that ABC was trying to not make additional waves here, and Adam Silver, as a broadcast partner, I think respected that some too.
I want to ask you guys some questions, though, about the time that we're in, and rewind 5 years to the pandemic when the NBA wasn't sitting this out politely. And you guys are saying that he has to do this, and I'm like, no, not if you're a real leader. No, not really. You don't have to do that. You don't. You guys are saying he has to do the public relations. No, you don't. He's the leader of the league. And maybe if you're afraid of your owners and your partners, but David Stern wasn't afraid of his owners and his partners. He was not.
But then, as you pointed out, he's not the leader. He is the employee of 30 men who get together and some women.
So was Stern.
Yeah, but no, Stern was the leader.
I know.
Different types. And we don't know how Stern would have reacted in these times. We don't have that evidence.
Because there's a lot of stuff that, again, Donald Sterling was an NBA owner who was despicable both publicly and privately, and David Stern covered for him the entirety of the time. So every time we do this, and I'm guilty of it a lot, I always say Stern wouldn't have done this and Stern wouldn't have let that happen. But there's some stuff that Stern did with this regard, like to things that should be universally morally objectionable, that he didn't have a problem with. Or if he did, he put his feelings secondary to whatever the business move was. What Adam Silver did there last night, as we could all sit here and be like, I can't believe he did this, whatever. At the end of the day, that is a business move, and it's a business move not just based on the entirety of the league and their operations, but again, of the 30 individuals who he must report to. Here's a dirty secret, folks. Not too many billionaires have a problem with that dude in office right now. Quite the opposite. They're all trying to figure out how they can cozy up to make their business lives even more flourishing.
Well, to Dan's point, though, it is entirely accurate to say that during the pandemic, Donald Trump was openly outspoken against NBA players who were rallying against police-involved shootings, who were and he was against the Black Lives Matter shirts on the court, and he was against all that stuff. And he said at the time that the activism of the NBA players is going to result in the deterioration of support for the NBA. And so the idea that 5 years later he's coming off as a big NBA fan is a little bit weird.
So I want to just examine a couple of things that you said here, because he works for the owners, but he also kind of works for the players. And the divide here is such that Mike Ryan is saying something as a possible fact that I'm like, wait a minute, that's not palatable to me. The networks and the commissioner, if that is indeed so, what you're saying, conspiring so that my broadcast mutes what is the real feeling in that arena in the name of sanitizing the whole thing for my consumption in a way that's different from accurate, is not what I want. I don't want a conspiring between television partners and leagues to give me a distortion of the truth that is less honest than what it is that you got if you were in the arena. Because if what you're saying is true, you're telling me, and I don't know that that's true, you're telling me that what ABC and the league presented to us was nicer than what was actually happening in the arena. And what I prefer is the truth.
Dan, this ties into our conversation yesterday about, Paramount and Skydance and the purchasing of things, and the idea that as power is consolidated, and when I say power, I mean the power of broadcast is consolidated, because these people are trying to appeal to a government that has made it very clear it's pay for play. You do something for me, I do something for you. You do something that hurts me or makes my life uncomfortable, I make your life uncomfortable. And it is corrupt, and it's wrong, and it is anti-American, antitrust, all that stuff. But we allowed this as a society because people were worried about, there might be a boy playing with girls in a high school game. That's what people decided the election was going to be about. I'm sorry to say, America, you reap what you sow.
Yeah, I don't think you should hold the corporations to a higher standard than the office itself. But what Amin said is absolutely right. It's pay for play, and you have a very vengeful president at the time. But I'd say for us, we got to hold people accountable when when the wind blows them into another direction. After January 6th, I believe Coca-Cola issued a statement demonizing what had happened. And then you cut to a few years later, and they're helping install a Diet Coke machine inside the Oval Office. That's how capitalism works. you appease the power in place, and this president loves the power, and I think you and everyone else just needs to keep record of it and speak with your vote, speak with your dollars.
Yeah, Mike, you're right, because at the end of the day,
is not an echo chamber.
I wonder, like, right now, June is Pride Month. You got all these brands say, "Oh, happy Pride Month." In February, it's Black History Month. You go, "Oh, do I really think McDonald's gives a shit about Black History Month? No, they don't, right? In the same way that when George Floyd happened and everyone posted a black square, did I think that all these corporations actually felt bad? I'm like, no. They're just like, let me lick my finger. Oh, the wind's blowing this way. Oh, yeah, that's awful. And then the moment they got the vibe that, like, the winds are shifting, right? So January 6th, oh, that's awful. But as the vibe shifted, and we know the vibe shifted because the man won another election. At that point, it's like, well, this is out the way. Think about your guy, Jeff Bezos, right? He bought the Washington Post. Democracy dies in darkness. That's what they had on their thing. They were so anti-Trump, and he was like, hey, I'm not going to do anything editorial. I'm just here to finance, to make sure the free press exists. The moment the dude won the election, he was like, I tried. They don't care, ladies and gentlemen. They care about what makes their lives easier in that moment.
I will say, as a consumer who's not a Trump fan, I was satisfied by what ABC did. I thought they aired 7 or 10 seconds of pretty loud booing while showing Trump. I thought that was sufficient without belaboring it. Now, the alternative is, if that broadcast is on Fox, I don't think we get even that.
Okay, well, let's play then. You show me, and let me hear the sound from the ABC broadcast last night, and we will compare it to press box sound. Here is the sound from the broadcast. And bright stars through the perilous fight. So there is something strategic about doing it during the anthem when people are less likely to boo, but let's hear now from the press box and see if it's the same.
Okay, so there is a logical, non-political explanation to this, which is because the broadcast is trying to highlight the guy singing the national anthem, we're going to make sure his mic is clear and we're going to mute everything else in the background. It's the same reason why when Mike Breen and Richard Jefferson and Legg say they couldn't hear the whistle, they didn't even know that a foul had been called, but their voices sounded so clear. It's because they've muted out how loud the audience is.
I think that's probably what happened there, but it is strategic to show them during the national anthem. The national championship game did the very same thing. I did not see the national championship game broadcast. I was there, but in the stadium, they only showed him once after the national anthem, and you would have a smattering there, and that was a crowd that was far more favorable to the president being there. But also, I think as a director, knowing everything that I had to navigate and knowing what my audience is, even though my motivations would be, no, let's show them there and make sure that there's crowd shots. MSG was probably trying to avoid that too, so we can get that reaction. But people watching at home don't want to see him. Even if they support him, they don't want to see him.
I disagree there. I think it was a major storyline going into watching the game is what the reaction to the president's going to be.
I appreciate you disagreeing. Seen the numbers. People just want to watch the game. And showing that guy on screen elicits an emotion. Could be positive, could be negative, could certainly be polarizing within people's homes. And there is probably a directive like, let's try to limit our exposure here and keep our audience happy.
And part of what you say is why I think ABC played it right. Maybe that's unpopular. I think airing 7-10 seconds of loud booing was sufficient. I thought it was spot on.
Let's talk about leadership for a second, though, because it has been fairly startling to see Adam Silver replace David Stern, who did not work for the owners this obviously. John Skipper says he has never been cursed out the way that he was cursed out by David Stern when he was the head of ESPN and a partner with David Stern, because when you're in that position of power, you can, if you choose to use it, bully both partners and owners. You can. You're allowed. But if all you want is to keep the job and keep the peace, if that's all you want, not really leadership.
But Dan, it is leadership in other areas.
It's leadership that Dan disagrees with, but it is a way of leading.
Well, I just don't think it's how he actually feels. I don't think that if you ask him for his honest opinions on what he thinks about the president being there, that's what he would say.
Dan, you don't do everything that you feel because you run a company, and you have to act in the best interests of the company oftentimes. And I think that's also leadership. Sometimes it's not just sacrificing other people, it's sacrificing your own convictions and beliefs for the greater good.
But best for the company here is a little hard when the owners are white and the players are black and they're all part of the same company.
Yes, I don't even think it's a little hard. I think it's a lot hard.
I would say actually not as hard as you would imagine because, again, while the players might also have their own personal feelings about certain things, they kind of care about getting paid a little bit more than that. And sometimes it's like, hey, I don't like it, but this is the way the world is. That again, I got to go back to this because David Stern himself has said there were times where we did things that were contrary to my personal belief, but I felt like this was the best decision in the moment.
Donald Trump said something that helped the league. He was asked specifically about the ticket pricing on Air Force One. He was asked, isn't that a little too expensive for a ticket? You know what he said? He's like, well, that's the way that life is, and you can watch it semi-kind of free on TV. That's great if I'm the NBA. We keep ticket revenues up, and you just put over our broadcast partnership. Thank you.
The other thing is, if I'm a player, I can be as outspoken as I want to be or not. I don't need my commissioner to be my mouthpiece. I don't need Adam Silver to speak for me. If I want to come out strong against Trump, I'm going to do it.
Guys, I've been waiting this whole time. Here it is. It's happening. I've been keeping track of this all day long. When is Stephen A. Smith going to address Donald Trump? Didn't look like they did. Guys, they just come back from break right now. They're showing the Trump clip right now.
Block A, hour 2.
Oh, my God, guys. We've only got 50-some-odd seconds left in our show, but I'm going to try and do the Stephen A. Smith thing right now as I'm looking at the screen.
We've got another hour after these 50
What?
seconds.
He's standing at a podium in front of an American flag.
He likes that the president had something to say about
You think?
him, right?
Loves it.
I don't know what's happened to our business, man.
I think I'm going to go with him.
All right, you guys are all going to just go leave to go watch First Take? You're all going to just leave me here?
It's sickening. That's disrespectful. I'll pull it up on YouTube.
You're all just going to leave. You're going to go leave to go watch First Take Stephen A. Smith in front of an American flag. I heard there's some controversy around the it's the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody. He is counting down his top 50 catchphrases of all time. It has been a successful months-long joke. What is the controversy surrounding your catchphrase list? What is the issue?
It's big. The controversy is that based on quality demand, the catchphrase countdown has suddenly increased from a top 50 to a top 60.
What?
That's
What?
right. And it's controversial.
Of course it is. You told us it was a top 50, and we told you it was something you were making up as you went along, and that you weren't going to get the numbers right, and now you just changed it.
He botched it to such a degree that there are so many good ones left that we're just pushing all the
I knew that was going to happen, though. That's exactly what we were saying.
Your brain beating me.
How did this happen? What was the ruling? What did the committee get together and decide? How did it happen that it got expanded? Now, no one's going to complain about this because more catchphrases is great, but we told you this was going to happen, and we told you this was a sloppy list by you.
The others, they all learn from me.
Yeah, right.
No, I looked at all the catchphrases remaining, and there was only 14 left, but there were like 20-something good ones. So I'm like,
thank you.
Let's go.
Wait a minute. So how did you do it though? Are there now? Is there now a new list 50 to 60, or
No,
what are you doing?
everything that's been said is just like what was 50 is now 60. Yes. There were 14 left, and now there's 24
So we're
left.
not in the top 20
No,
anymore?
now we're at 23 and 24.
We were in the top 20 of the countdown, and now we're at 24?
I'm telling you, they're bangers, though. They're just bangers
There
left.
is nobody that's actually upset about this development. Come on.
You've got to honor the list,
I'm
though.
telling you, I got a peek. I don't know the exact order, but I got a peek of what the top 10 looks like, and it is just banger after banger.
Yeah, Yeti hated it. He's against it.
Yeti thinks that we should just make him live with the world he gave us.
Should.
Like,
I mean,
there's-
I asked you several times throughout this whole process. Have you thought this out? Have you planned out the list? You know that there are 50. You kept assuring me that you have it all under control.
Driver comfort is paramount.
He ain't wrong. You know, part of the beauty of me is a bit of serendipity, a bit of
You're the kind of guy.
unpredictability. And so the same is true with this list. Okay, whenever you do a countdown, Zaz, bank this information for your future. Whenever you do any sort of a countdown, controversy is good. You want somebody to say, that sucks, that should be lower, or that's, wow, I can't believe that's not higher.
So wait, so what used to be 50 is now 60.
Yes.
So we've gotten fraudulent rankings up to now. All the numerical rankings we've gotten up to now are all wrong.
He can give you the updated, like number 60, he can give you the update of whatever.
I know, but they're all, every previous incarnation of this that we have given the American public and internationally has been wrong.
I would say adjusted more than wrong.
Adjusted.
Maybe to Greg's credit, too, I've never heard of a top 60.
Thank you.
Well, how do we know it's not going to end up being 62 because he's going to think of two more on his way home because he didn't plan any of this
It
out?
would never be 62. It could bump to 65. It would never be a number like 62.
We would obviously go in fives, Dan.
Here's also the thing. This is a big question of mine. So you have left 10 out, which is why you are expanding it from 50 to 60. But the 10 that you left out are automatically like they're in the top 23. You're saying top 24.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, he left bangers out.
Right.
This had to be done, guys.
Yeah, it had to be done, like he says.
Again, it doesn't have to be done if you're dealing with a responsible person who plans it
That's
at the
true.
beginning, as opposed to just making everything up as he goes along.
No, listen, and we're in the sports business. We should know this better than anybody. Rankings always change. When I was born, everybody agreed Babe Ruth, greatest player ever. Not so much now. Rankings
That was when I was
change.
growing up. It was a hot debate. Everyone agreed, though. Babe Ruth, that young kid's got a future.
It was an argument back then on sports radio. Tris Speaker or Babe
Yeah,
Ruth?
that's right. Lou Gehrig was in play. as well.
Telegram in your thoughts.
I have to go back to Chris Cody here because I'm not sure that I knew this. I have to go back. So you're married to an identical twin.
That's right.
Okay, I have questions.
Go on.
First,
not too many questions.
Well, I know your father's sitting right next to me. It's a little weird. Okay, so first question.
No wonder they're into swinging at that house.
Were you always able to tell them apart?
Not at the beginning when we were just dating. Her sister has like a beauty mark on her face, so I was like, mine's the one without that.
Okay. My next question is, a lot of times, your wife or your girlfriend will be like, you think my sister's attractive, don't you? You clearly think her sister's attractive.
That's right. Undeniable.
If you think your wife's hot, you think her sister is hot.
My sister-in-law's hot.
That's
There, I said
crazy.
it.
Right?
I've never said that to her before.
No, you got to say that, though.
Well, you must think she's hot.
But Zaz, here's the deal. Everyone with a hot sister-in-law thinks their sister-in-law is hot. He's the only one who's allowed to say it out loud. That's the difference.
That's true. That's true.
Not like the rest of us are like, oh, my sister-in-law is terrible. Like, if you got a hot one, you're like, oh, my God, she's hot, but you just can't say it out loud.
Yeah. And are they actually different?
They're very similar in a lot of ways.
So how'd you choose?
The other one was taken.
Papa Cody, wait a second now. You experience this. I mean, do you find one more charming than the other?
At the very beginning, I too had difficulty telling them apart.
But do you like, now that you've gotten to know, presumably both of them pretty well, do you think that your boy made the right choice between the two?
I have to say that. I mean, of course he did.
Oh, my goodness.
Of course he did.
Now.
I love my daughter-in-law, but they're eerily alike.
Now,
not just physical.
What I'm about to admit now is a little embarrassing.
Go on.
There are times, in marriage, you're going through.
We know.
You're
We know.
it's just, this is.
I don't like where this is headed.
I don't either.
I do.
Where sometimes you just if you're trying to keep things fresh, you just imagine it's the other person.
Oh no.
That's an unbelievable admission.
That
What's the matter with you, man?
I didn't hear
Suey. Hey, guys in the room outside, mark that down.
For
Suey
the record,
revelation.
did everybody see as one of society's great empaths? Did you see me try to get in the way? Did you see me try to dive in front of that? He refused. Yeah. He went. He plowed straight ahead.
He did.
You guys never struggle, huh?
Your wife clearly does not listen to this show.
Sure doesn't.
You got no worries that this is getting back to her.
Tony, how you feel about that admission?
Not great. Yeah, not great. Even though, admittedly, Chris says that his wife doesn't watch the show, which is good, right?
Very
so he
good.
feels like he can shoot from the hip here and not really be taken to task, like Dave said. Very good. But the issue is sometimes some things are so flammable and so big that they peer through the veil of Chris saying, "Oh no, my wife doesn't watch the show," where she's like, "You said what?"
That was bigger than the show, man.
Bigger than the show.
Let's not clip this if we can.
That was an incredible admission.
It really
Greg,
was.
what did you make of all that?
A little bit unfortunate. I wish he hadn't said that. It could come back to haunt.
You guys never struggle.
Well, in the context of this show, you can always say, I was just kidding. Of course I was just kidding. But will she believe you?
I was.
Okay.
What is the Nick Bobick?
It's a 60s song. The name game. Nick Bobick. Banana Bofick. Me, my Momick. Nick.
Rosanna, Babana, Rosanna, Babana, Rosanna, Babana.
I'm the kind of guy that Nick. Who made it the salad? Hey, Butterfinger. Who made it the salad? Nick Bobick. Who made it the salad? Georgia.
That's not correct.
Very good.
It's a parrot that says very good out of the side of its mouth.
That's correct.
What does this have to do with the name game?
I'm not going to take a quiz.
Rosanna, Babana,
Who made it the salad? Me, my Momick. Very good. Let's go, States. We're rolling now, huh?
That's not correct.
Doesn't make it right. Don't go showering to try to please me.
Do you like breathing hot neck on the neck of hot?
Wow.
Are you turned on? Do you like
dangling?
Breathing hot neck?
What's going on here?
Do you like
sexy
breathing hot neck? You have been dry humped many times.
Intimate.
You have been dry humped many times.
Little pelvic thrust situation.
I like that.
Have you ever consoled a naked man before?
What does it feel like to get dry humped?
I saw pee-pee.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Breathing hot neck
I've never consoled a naked man.
many times.
I saw pee-pee.
People out there, stop sending me pictures of the hotel rooms with the chair, okay? Stop sending those to me.
I like that. I like that.
He was naked,
Intimate.
dangling.
I would hold that thing really tight.
How would you do it?
What's going on here?
Do you like
Sexy.
breathing hot neck? Do you like breathing hot neck?
I've been dry humped.
You never know.
I've been dry humped.
Many times.
I've never consoled a naked man.
You ever consoled a naked man?
I've never consoled a naked man.
Many times.
You never know. I like that.
You know what I'm talking about?
Chris Cody and Roy revealed this to me. And Roy, I don't know the context of what it is that you guys were talking about that revealed this about Chris Cody.
Yeah, Chris asked me what the sound from the first down for the Dolphins games were. And I said
it's just a noise I've made throughout my entire life. It's just like I just did it. Hoo-wah!
Yeah.
And to me, that's another Miami Dolphins first down.
Well, let's find out.
Hoo-wah!
Let's find out if your dad knows, because he's not a real moviegoer. Instead of impersonating the sound, do you have the actual sound? Greg Cody, do you know who's making this sound?
Hoo-ah! I do.
Clark Gable.
Come on.
It's the famous actor.
Rock Hudson.
Oh, this is great. He doesn't know it.
No, it's the famous actor. And I got to pin his name down because I don't think
you should be able to say this immediately.
I don't think it's Robert De Niro,
No.
but I think it's
in the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood. Give me a second. Robert De Niro.
Humphrey
Bogart. Al Pacino.
Hey, there you go.
If someone said that in his headphones, you're fired.
Now,
No,
what movie?
nobody said
What
that.
movie?
It's APAC. What movie?
Streetcar Named Desire.
You ain't you. No, you're not man enough to know the truth. Something like
no.
That's a few good men, and that's a few good men.
Good answer. Good answer.
And it's not, you're not man enough to know the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Don't know.
It's a different movie. Pacino was not in it.
You're not man enough to know the truth.
That was originally a line Nicholson ad-libbed.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Was Pacino in A Few Good Men? Was a blind Pacino?
Okay, who did he say? Who said in what movie?
Let's keep going. Let's see how long it takes you to get.
Play it again.
I think did he win an Oscar? I think he won an Oscar for this.
Yes. Bull Durham.
No.
Good answer. Good answer.
Put it on the
Raging
poll.
Bull. Raging
Put it on
Bull.
the poll.
No. It's a bull movie.
Just naming De Niro movies.
Red Bull. I don't know.
Put it on the poll. Was a blind Pacino in Bull Durham?
Chicago Bull.
And put it on the poll as well. Was a blind Pacino in Raging Bull? First of all, it's a really random thing to have stick in a dolphin.
I say it all the time.
No, but it's been for 30 years. That movie's 30 years old. I don't want to tell him what the movie is. Keep guessing, Greg. Keep trying to guess what the Al Pacino movie. How many Oscars has Pacino won? Because he
A Few Good Men.
You already guessed that, and we already told you that it's not A Few Good Men.
Okay.
And you're not man enough to handle the truth.
Right. Okay.
Classic line.
It's got a military theme to it. I just can't come up with a name.
It's not a military theme, but I think he's a. The World Cup is kind of here, and we are celebrating it in our own way. Mike Ryan leads our morally abhorrent coverage. We will be covering the games as well, but everything that surrounds the World Cup, it's about to engulf us over the next couple of months as a surprisingly great hockey final that is getting surprisingly great ratings comes to a close, and I'm going to say surprisingly great NBA final so far, because it's been many years since the games were this close right at the start. These teams seem pretty evenly matched, and they've given us 3 close games in the last 3 minutes when we haven't had these entire NBA playoffs a whole lot of close games at the end.
I said it was going to go 7 and be a classic. I'm not surprised.
So Morally Abhorrent will be here in a little bit, and we will also update the polls. But speaking of the World Cup, Ian Wright, who is now a television personality and broadcaster, and I believe he's famous for scoring like 3 goals, a hat trick in like 20 minutes during his playing days. Mike, what is the context I need for this sound that we're about to play as we head into a fairly chaotic time where a Somali referee who's considered among the best in the world isn't allowed access to the United States and Miami, and is going to have to referee games outside of the United States because already the problems with immigration and the problems with our country's divisions are already touching this thing.
Ian Wright's a respected voice in the soccer world, and he felt compelled to take to his social media on the heels of that story that you just mentioned and share some thoughts here about the World Cup. Let's listen to the man.
I just read that the Somalian referee has been denied entry. Every few hours, it's another story about fans denied, players denied, officials denied, journalists denied, now refs. You know something, I'm laughing, but it's not funny. It's actually not funny. Something has to be said. It's expensive tickets, the most expensive tickets ever. Expensive accommodation, transport through the roof. It has to be said. Is this how the hosts behave, really, for the greatest game, the greatest tournament in the world? Is this how the hosts behave? Are we not hearing more? Are we seeing how Qatar got dragged? Are we not hearing more? Is this the spirit of football? Really? You know who I feel for? I feel for the American fans who are desperate for this. American soccer fans who are desperate for this, how embarrassed they must be. how embarrassing for them this must be. This is, you know what? This is the World Cup. This is a World Cup of chaos. Whoever wins this World Cup is going to have to go through some serious chaos to get this done. I hope we can do it. But something has to be said now. This is just like, this is the World Cup.
I agree with everything that Ian Wright said over there, but the part that connected with me was him speaking about the U.S. soccer fan. Now, polling shows most people in this country, in growing numbers, aren't down with what's happening. This is really unfortunate for the world because I still view us as a world leader. And when I dreamed about this day for decades, about the World Cup finally coming back here, it was going to be a momentous occasion in which I felt like, decades ago, we'll finally be a proper soccer nation. We have this great infrastructure. We can show the world what we are capable of. It's not this novelty that it was in the 90s. They're going to come here and understand that we have a sporting culture because I do think the American soccer fan, the true American soccer fan, is as knowledgeable and respectful of the game as anyone you'll find. We have to work hard in this country to follow the sport. I love traveling abroad and talking soccer with other fans. Those other fans, they know domestically what's happening. They're not dialed into the Bundesliga, Liga MX, MLS the way that we are. We fight hard for this. And yes, it's embarrassing. And yes, it'll be a regret for the rest of our lives. These shots are really hard to come by. I may not see another one in this continent as long as I live. It's a huge missed opportunity. I'm hugely bummed about it. I am going to apologize for our very existence constantly. Yes, it sucks. Please, don't take it out on the people. Don't hold it against us for generations. And I do think the point that he made about Qatar was incredible. Yes, everyone felt super comfortable going at the Middle Easterns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tinge of racism, and maybe not a tinge. We deserve what's coming our way right now. And when it came to the Somali referee, the hell are we doing? What is Johnny Soccer doing parading at the Board of Peace and giving Donald Trump FIFA peace prizes if we're not going to have stuff like this ironed out unless it is 100% intentional? And I'm only left to believe that. This is not a loose end. It's a World Cup that has about a decade of prep going into it. And if your president is going to parade himself around as having this great relationship with Donald Trump, take him to task too, because it's a failure on his end to not have the simplest of logistics buttoned up.
Really quickly, the 94 World Cup, what made it so special, and I'm speaking from the international perspective, is because it was the most accessible World Cup. They were like, every stadium is 80,000 seats. There's travel is pretty easy within the United States. People could get to these games, and they could get tickets to the games, and it really impressed the international audience, even if they were not impressed with the knowledge base of the American audience, right? Fast forward, this was supposed to be that, but like Mike said, now it's like, oh, wait, the soccer-loving population has grown, and so now it's going to be more nuanced and more intelligent, along with those great logistics. And what we've done instead is we turned it into the ugliest part of America, which is late-stage capitalism, which is the incredibly pricey tickets and transportation and hotels and all that stuff, but then add on top of it a little tinge of xenophobia. And now we're stopping people. Now, it's one thing to say to certain fans, hey, in order to come, you have to give a $15,000 deposit per person in your traveling party that you can get back at the end of the World Cup. That's one part of it. That's already pretty disgusting. But now when you're making it hard for people who are actually in charge of doing this, referees and players and stuff like that, now you've just completely lost the plot. What are we doing here?
Well, I think one of the realities here is that FIFA and Trump are kissing cousins. FIFA's very much pro-Trump, and then by extension, I think FIFA's very much pro-America in terms of immigration policies and everything that's affecting this, including Iran fans being turned away and not having tickets anymore. I think FIFA's okay with the way this is going, and I think FIFA thinks that once the games begin, once there is the momentum of the soccer itself building like a locomotive, that all is going to be well.
There are so many examples of a World Cup and the game transcending. Brazil was incredible. South Africa was incredible. And people turned to it the way that Ted Lasso had its time in the sun because people were just gravitating to something positive that was a distraction from everything else. Now this gets lumped in with Russia, with Qatar, and there's no coming back from that. And you want to talk about FIFA, you're talking about one of the most corrupt organizations in the history of sport. No, not one of. The most corrupt sporting government ever, and it's met the most corrupt American government ever, and they are quite thrilled to have met each other at this moment in time, while Americans and those traveling to America are left holding the bag for the world's most accessible game.
One of the things here that I do want to point out, because this is not Qatar, okay, the World Cup that we were talking about that was killing essentially slaves who were in a hurry to build stadiums so that other places would have.
And we're
the
killing
capacity.
protesters in the street.
Look,
we were supposed to be a moral beacon.
Look, Mike, I'm not saying the standard's not higher for us. I'm not even disputing that all of this is embarrassing. I'm just saying that to hear America, with what it's supposed to represent, be guilty of telling a Somali referee, not welcome here. This is not a place for you, because that's what's happening with our borders. It's not killing the slaves who are building stadiums, but it's less American than I thought it would be in 2026 when we welcome this game with a celebration, and what it is that you have around it is instead just some chaos and corruption that makes it ugly. But yes, of course, the sports will always be the balm. You just got done telling me that Adam Silver has a responsibility to do balm talk before the games are played, because that's his job as commissioner of the league. You just got done telling me that the games fix everything because you don't care if your commissioner behaves impotently because he must in order to protect public relations.
I don't think the games fix everything, but I think the games are a hell of a makeup on the scars. And if we have an and part of me hopes this, I don't know about you, Mike, if we have an exhilarating World Cup that on the pitch is just mesmerizing, and it crescendos July 19th with an epic final match, I'm not going to say all is going to be well about the U.S. as host, but a lot of the issues are going to sort of be softened by the games themselves.
I talked about this some on TalkSport this morning with Master Tesfazian, who hosts a show over there called The S Word, and he's constantly having to apologize for Americans on that show, broadcast out of the UK. He's our guest on today's episode of Morally Abhorrent. I have to remind myself, we're not the only host nation here. There's going to be plenty of beautiful moments in Mexico. I think they're primed for potentially a deep run. Canada will be scenes. I saw a U.S. hockey team that at a very complicated time, with politicians going out and reaching out to them, with cosigns from the athletes themselves, still bring a nation together on a Sunday morning when they won a gold medal, and people were still proud. So I am hopeful that we will have those moments. I am encouraged by the recent performances. There's also going to be triumphs of the human spirit against people we are actively engaged in a war operation against in Iran, who were wearing lapel pins to honor those who died at that school yesterday. Iraq is over here. There is going to be a lot of interesting stories. Statistically, the most probable knockout round opponent for the United States, I believe, is Iran, if you check the numbers and advanced measurements. So there's going to be a lot of real eye-popping moments here.
Where would that game be?
It depends. I don't know. But it's going to be... It's not going to be in Mexico or Canada. But Iran's playing its first couple games. I think that the most recent news that I saw, Iran's been moved all over the place. Iran has to travel same day. Yeah. That's the most recent bit of news. Hopefully they get some relief there. I don't know how much we can put their soccer team through. Remember, this was a soccer team that has been progressive historically, has taken the opportunity. The last time they played the U.S., there was protests against its own government. So when they play in Los Angeles, a lot of Iranian expats that are going to be there in support. I do think that there are going to be really interesting moments here from a societal POV, and I hope that it brings out the best of us, because right now, unchecked corruption on both sides has brought out the worst in both organizations.
I think there's a chance Iran could play in Chicago the day before the 4th of July, which would be spectacular in its way. But you're right, there's so many human interest stories. For me, one of them is Haiti. You saw the fans in 2 exhibitions down here in Fort Lauderdale and Miami for the Haitian team. The Haitian team couldn't even train in their own country because of ongoing gang takeover of that nation, which needs all kind of help to save itself. And here's the Haitian team in the World Cup for the first time in 52 years. There's all kind of stories like that have a heartwarming underbelly and underlining to all of the problems we have with the U.S. as host.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, Dan, I know you mentioned slave labor dying. We're a country that's actively at war. We bombed a school with kids. Even if you want to do life for life Olympics, which no one should do, we can all agree it's all morally abhorrent. This is hardly a saintly place, even compared to Qatar. You say, oh, we have a higher standard. Again, kind of what's happened over the last few months would probably beg to differ.
I don't really want to do.
I don't want to do it either. I just want. I want to. I don't want to do it. I just want to point it out.
But the last time that the World Cup was there, those people were dying in service of the World Cup. It wasn't like those people were dying building stadiums in a big hurry so that they could host the world. We were supposed to be prepared to host the world.
What did those kids die in service of? That's my point.
I've got a couple of stats for you guys. I want you to tell me which is the best of these 2 stats. This one from Sean Grande. The Mets and Yankees lost 37 games between Knicks playoffs losses. And also the Knicks hadn't lost a playoff game since day 1 of the NFL draft.
Wow.
Which one of those sounds more impressive to you? Because day 1 of the NFL draft feels to me like it was 17 years ago.
I think it's that one. Yeah, that one.
Who went number 1 again?
Is Aaron Donald coming back? Is Aaron Donald going to come back after 2 years off to play for the Rams?
I doubt it.
Like week 11, he'll be back.
I can't believe it. No, I can't. He's 35, out 2 years. He's not going to be the same Aaron Donald. I don't care what anybody says.
Play on 3rd down. I think he might come back.
I don't think he needs to be the same Aaron Donald because he's playing on the line against alongside Myles Garrett. I don't think as much is required from him, but it'll be curious to see if that's something he wants to do because it's not ring chasing. Los Angeles has had good teams. I'm sure he's had the opportunity midseason. If I'm Sean McVay, I'm calling that guy every week. Hey, you look like you're ready to go. We think we got a good shot here.
You got a bye week after week 10. What do you think?
He's decided against it at every turn, so maybe the opportunity to play alongside another all-time great is what entices him. I think he's enjoying teasing folks, but he's been put together for a while now and doesn't mind sharing it, and you can't blame him.
He does look pretty damn good in those workout videos. I'll give him that.
He always looks pretty damn good. I'd play him. This percentage of Aaron Donald is better than most defensive tackles.
I'm dying on my podcast, not this one.
I am insistent and I demand that somebody get me some answers about the extinction of sarsaparilla. I don't want to leave today's show without knowing where we are on when sarsaparilla became extinct, and I need more answers on this. I also, before we get to Juju and some updated polls and Morally Abhorrent, I want to get to what happened with Stephen A. Smith on First Take. Mike was very eager to hear whether he would go back at the president. I assume he did over this silly, stupid issue as opposed to serious things affecting our country. I assume that he kept it confined to sports because that's why we're no longer at ESPN.
So they did it with the American flag behind him. He stood at a podium and they played Hail to the Chief as he went in. Now, I must admit, he started kind of lackluster. He wasn't holding my attention because he was doing all the kind of like what it felt like fan service to Donald Trump. He was doing the same thing.
He was building him up to try to build him back down.
Yeah. But then he tried to get to the part where Donald Trump was asleep. He said, now, I can't confirm if he was snoring because I wasn't within earshot, but that brother was asleep. And he just kept hammering home this dude was asleep. And then he said the idea that the president came and they had to blockade, again, everything from 25th to 40th and from 9th Avenue to 6th Avenue. It's not just that people were inconvenienced. All those small businesses there, those bars, those restaurants, those parking garages that depend on the traffic of a game day to make a lot of their revenue, they all had to shut down. And if this president was so much about business and helping New Yorkers and all that, he wouldn't have done all this. And then he went in on, you're going to call me low IQ. I'm not the one who's been ducking the other one. Because apparently he's been throwing out lobs to debate Donald Trump, and Donald Trump has not been taking the bait. And so he pointed that out as he's afraid of me. And then he went back and started talking about him being asleep and all that stuff. And then, Tony, this was weird. In the middle of it, they dumped him.
What?
Now, the video feed still stayed. He was still talking. He's moving his mouth, but they dumped the audio. And so we're trying to figure out, what did Stephen A. Smith say that the censors over at ESPN, hit the dump button and said the last 10 seconds of what he's saying right now is not going to go out over air.
So we knew by reading his mouth he said something continual about being asleep, but we don't know what the buzzword was that got him pinged for that. So we're going to read him.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Worst thing to do during the NBA Finals, fall asleep or play solitaire? Here's Juju with us now to update some polls.
No, Dan, I'm sorry, Juju. Give me a second because we have the clip of him getting dumped right here. Run it.
Brunson played better when you weren't there. Mikal Bridges played better when you weren't there. Josh, Karl Anthony Towns played better when you weren't there. Landry Shamet played better when you weren't there. The crowd was festive, hyped, and more intimidating when you weren't there. Businesses were thriving before you showed up. Parking garages were being filled before you showed up. There was noise reverberating off the walls of Madison Square Garden before you showed up. And this is what you've done. I thought you were a New Yorker, Mr. President. I thought you cared. I thought it mattered to you. Gotham City, the New York Knicks, the erasing of a 53-year drought. I thought that mattered to you. Evidently it didn't. And you know how we know? Because you actually talking about coming back for Game 4. Why would you do that when you couldn't stay awake for Game 3? It's clear you need your rest.
That's just an audio problem. I dispute
New York
judgment
Knicks
in all
needed to.
forms. Get that off my screen. Juju, let's update the polls at Le Batard Show. What do you got?
Guy who calls numbers numbies. Douche or no douche? 91% of the audience says douche. Do you know what sarsaparilla is or sarsaparilla? 51% of the audience says yes, they do. You feel me? We had one poll that ended up on the dump list today, the naughty list. And I have a trigger warning for you. This was the poll. Worst way to die, asphyxiation or punch repeatedly. We're not putting that stuff out. Come on, Michelle Beadle. Next poll, did Wemby let out a pet the first 2 games of the series? 85% of the audience says yes. In a New York riot, is a barricade the first thing a rioter would use as a weapon? 91% of the audience says yes. And last poll, if you had to drink your own urine, would you prefer it to be warm or cold? 88% of the audience says cold, and those are your polls.
Big Rock. Like an old fashioned.
Poncho!
Welcome back to Morally Abhorrent, a Dan Le Batard Show, quote, situation. That is according to Dan Le Batard. We are now here for episode 3. In episode 1, you can go back into our main feed or our YouTube page to check these out. We previewed the United States with our good friend Tom Bogert of the Golazo Network and The Athletic. And then I'm really proud of the episode that we did with Chris Whittingham last week, and check it out once again on our feed, on our YouTube page, where we previewed the totality of the tournament. Basically, we went through each and every group. However, when you're doing that, you don't have a lot of time to drill down on the games, and that's what I'm going to do with my dear friend, Master Tesfazian, who's got a dream job right now working with Talk Sport. He's got a great podcast that he'll tell you about called The S Word. It's a great show. I've been on it already. Plan on being on it again. He's an American talking about soccer and doing us proud over there because the Europeans feel some type of way about us. I think I'd like to talk to you about that before we get into this group preview, but he is here to go line by line on all the match day ones of this illustrious tournament. We are going to touch on every team, their first match of the tournament, about a week and a half's worth of games here because it's an expanded World Cup. So, Master, my good friend, welcome to Morally Abhorrent. Hope to have you on the program again sometime soon during this tournament. Tell the folks where they can find the good work that you're doing with Talk Sport.
Yes, Mike. Actually, you were our first guest that we've ever had. So appreciate you for that and the honor that you had of joining the S Word. It is a show for Americans to talk about the sport in a manner in which we talk about it at the bars and pubs amongst the 50 million that consider themselves soccer fans in America, but maybe it's not the most reflective in the sports media coverage. So we created a daily show to help meet the needs that Americans so desperately are looking for. We are live 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern time every single day, 7 days a week throughout the World Cup. Myself and Will Gavin, who you may know is the viral British voice of the NFL UK play-by-play, but also has done a lot of commentary as well within the soccer space in Europe. So 8 to 10 a.m. we're live every day. You can check us out on the YouTube channel. TalkSport S Word is, I believe, the handle. Also, you can check us out on Instagram and X. We have the same handle as well, TalkSport S Word as well for that. So check us out. Show some love. We've had some great guests, yourself included. We've had Steve Nash. We've had the CEO of U.S. Soccer, JT Batson on. This is for between the casuals and the diehards. We're welcoming everyone into this beautiful game, and we are not gatekeeping, unlike other places, because the more the merrier, as I like to say.
I love the gambit of a dude that is over in the UK that is trying to ingratiate himself over to an American audience and prove that they know what they're talking about. An American that is fighting against all the stereotypes. I thought you did a great job in episode 1 of defending the merit of the American soccer fan. It doesn't feel like we are legion because over here it's more niche, but that doesn't mean it's not without its passion, and that doesn't mean that there aren't millions upon millions of us here. So what if you had to fight against the most here in the lead up of the World Cup? Because I imagine there's also a lot of political stuff that you're running into.
Yeah, a lot of political stuff, a lot of people just not thinking that Americans understand the knowledge or have a basis of understanding of the sport. But hey, let's be honest here. we consume more across the global space from domestic leagues than I would say any other country in the world. We are up at 4:30 in the morning on the West Coast watching Championship, watching League One, watching the Premier League. We're up at 7:30 in the morning in the bars on the East Coast watching the Premier League. And then it goes on and on and on at that point from the La Liga, Bundesliga, Scottish Premiership, you name it. Everything is being consumed and watched in America. As much as we get knocked on for being such the biggest consumer market in terms of spending and goods, we also are the biggest consumer market for viewership. And so we're seeing that with record viewership within the Premier League. We're seeing that record viewership within the Champions League final. And there's plenty of room to grow in that aspect. And this is a time window that we're talking about, again, that is not catered to us, unlike this World Cup where we're literally having to play games at 12 o'clock Pacific time and 3 o'clock Eastern time so we can cater to the European marketplace so they can watch it at a very reasonable time for themselves. So we go out of our ways. There is no reason why this sport should be picking up momentum in the way that it is in the States, because really nothing is catered towards this time zone. But lo and behold, we're out in pubs. We're packing it out. There's fan bases of pretty much every team you can find all across this beautiful nation. And in terms of the knowledge and the breadth of understanding from a macro perspective, I'd put an American soccer fan over anyone all over the world. So the political stuff, I mean, yeah, they got a point. I can't really say much about that. So that part, you kind of concede to that. But, when they're trying to knock the stadiums and all that stuff, as you're seeing lately over the last couple of days, I'm like, come on. Well, we pack 110,000 people at Kyle Field every Saturday in College Station. And that aesthetic looks so much greater and beautiful than the greatest cathedral you can think of in Europe. So what are we talking about?
You make a lot of great points. I would also stack the American true soccer fan. If you describe yourself as someone who loves soccer here in the United States, you are far more well-versed across the globe when it comes to soccer, where if you talk to someone from the UK, they're really dialed on the Prem, no doubt, maybe a little bit on the Championship, but then you start going to Bundesliga, and they know what they know from European competition, really, where here is the United States goes, it's a lifestyle to follow soccer. There is a lot of sweat that goes into being a soccer fan in the United States, and a lot of sacrifice too, not just getting up early, but you have to subscribe to all the streamers if you love soccer in this sport. So shout out to the passionate American soccer fan. I know this is a truly global event, and that's why you're getting all the worst stereotypes about America, but the people that are truly passionate about this sport in this country are highly educated. So let's put that to the test as we go through match day one for all these teams. Masser, we begin with one of the co-hosts of this tournament, Mexico, going up against South Africa, a former host nation with a very memorable kickoff game. These games always have something that sticks with you, be it a Bastian Schweinsteiger strike or Shabalala scoring an unbelievable goal for South Africa, and the passion of a host nation really resonates through the screen. And for Mexico, vibes on an uptick. Great young squad. Lots of a high-end potential with this team, and a dark horse for me and Chris Winningham to go really, really far in this tournament. And they go up against South Africa that has quite the obstacle standing in their way. What is your take of this first match?
Yeah, this South African side I thought was very disappointing in AFCON, and in terms of what I've seen since then from them, I think they finished last in this group. So. Which is unfortunate because it doesn't really capture the macro story of South Africa and from 2010 and seeing the growth of the Football Federation within South Africa. It's a beautiful story, and it's continuing to grow. However, Mexico, one of the host nations, maybe the disappointment that we've seen from Mexico, particularly in 2022, but seeing them start to pick up momentum, as you mentioned, winning the Gold Cup, starting to have some of their young talent that's being weaved in with some of their veteran core that they have. I think they're going to be pretty disciplined. I could see this being a 2-0, 3-0 game, truth be told. But I think Mexico, more than anything, needs to send a statement to the Mexican fans that this will not be a repeat of 2022. And they are here to make a statement, and they're here to make a long run. And out of all the three nations, I think they probably go the furthest. So that opening match at Stadium Azteca, it's going to be electric. I expect them to win pretty convincingly over South Africa.
And I hope you're warning our friends across the pond that a lot of these projections may have England having to go to Stadio Azteca for a result in the World Cup against a game Mexico side. We know from being Americans where you would die for just a point going over there. I think Mexico could be primed for a huge upset when we get to the knockout stages. So make sure all those English lads that you're talking to over there, don't take them lightly, because their journey may come to an end at the hands of Mexico.
I've been warning them. I think I saw a tweet, someone saying, hey, let's over-pollute Mexico City for that round of 16 so it makes it harder for them to breathe. And again, I'm not endorsing that, but I think that shows the lengths in which Mexican fans are willing to do to have a home field advantage against England if it comes down to it. And the heat, the conditions, all of that will come into effect here. And I think England will have their hands full trying to keep up with Mexico in a round of 16. It will be, we're used to it as Americans going down to Mexico in a hostile environment. I can only imagine what they have up their sleeve for the English if that happens to come to fruition.
We don't have to wait long for a sicko's delight, especially you over in the UK. What time is this happening at the UK? Like, what, 2 a.m. Local time? We have South Korea, Czechia. That's right, a 10 p.m. Eastern start. So we get to relax and rebuild ourselves. And while we tuck ourselves in bed here in the Eastern time zone, or still dragging ass at the pub, we get a sicko's delight. South Korea, mixed bag in international competition, obviously, have the huge star in Heung-min Son. What do you expect from the South Koreans in this match? Czechia, they've got some good players. If you're familiar with the Bundesliga, you know Patrick Schick can score goals in bunches. Not the firepower when they had Nedved over there and they got out of the group with the United States, but they have rebuilt themselves and they are back here in the limelight in international competition. This game can be cagey, Master.
Yeah, it can be cagey. And I think the biggest thing is I expect Mexico to win Group A, but for the other three nations, South Africa, South Korea, and Czechia, I think the biggest thing is who can maximize the chances that they create. These are three nations in which have struggled in terms of taking advantage of their chances. A lot of big chances missed on a lot of occasions for these three nations as they were going through qualifiers. And so that's the biggest thing to keep in mind here for South Korea and Czechia. And if either one of these nations is able to get 3 points here, they are in pole position to finish second behind Mexico, even challenge potentially Mexico to finish first there. Of course, you talked about with Son, but on the flip side, you've got Souček, as you mentioned, with Patrick Schick as well. So I don't expect any of these nations to keep a clean sheet. If I had to guess, I could see this being a 1-1 draw, and it ultimately coming down to how these two nations perform against South Africa and Mexico to determine who finishes second here. I give the slight lean to South Korea just for the experience sake, but I can imagine this one could be a drawn-out, cagey affair, as you mentioned.
So if we're on the DraftKings app, now live in all 50 states, the DraftKings Sports app, we're going to take both teams to score in this one, and maybe a little play on the draw here. Let's move over to the other host nation on Friday, Canada. The unlikely fortune of having to play two countries, Bosnia and Herzegovina. So that's going to be tough for Canada. Deck is stacked against them. Canada, I wanted to believe in Canada 4 years ago, and they talked big, and I had them even making it to the knockout stage, and it was kind of disappointing. They tried to play really big teams at their level, and they weren't there. And also, being a host nation, they haven't had to go through a grueling qualification process. Jesse Marsh rate them quite highly, hold them in high regard. This is going to be a difficult matchup. You keep waiting for Canada to have the big result, the big sweeping victory, and it's not happening. I didn't like what I saw out of them against Scotland, against Ireland, over the last few days. There's something just missing with this Canadian team, and it might be a consistent Alphonso Davies, but I do think the host nation having that energy behind them, a Toronto crowd, I think that this may be a low-scoring affair that gets settled with a Johnson Cross, a Jonathan David, who can finally find his form now back in an international shirt. Do you favor the co-host here in this really important match for Canada?
I go back and forth on this match and honestly this group, because Bosnia, besides having such a banger song, of wanting to come to America, it's hard not to love this nation and how much they're just embracing this entire journey. But also, they've got two teenage wingers in Kareem Bejgovic. I hope I'm saying his name right. They in a 4-4-2 setup that they have, this team is going to be very tough to break down, and also they'll find ways to have the counterattack. The one concern I have with Bosnia and Herzegovina, their travel schedule is just absolutely ridiculous. They're based in Utah, Sandy, Utah, okay? This match is going to be played in Toronto, Canada. Then they'll go back to the base, and then their second match is going to be in LA. Then their third match is going to be in Seattle. Like, nothing about this logistically for them is going to be very convenient per se, which obviously the travel and the heat is going to be two things we need to keep in mind for these nations. Having said all that, with Canada, without Alphonso Davies, I don't know if they'll have enough of a punch to really get to 3 points here. Maybe I'm being a coward here. I'm going to lean towards the draw. I think Bosnia-Herzegovina is going to be one of those surprise nations, I think, that can really pick up momentum. That could be the new Croatia, if we're being honest, in terms of that nation that really just fully embraces this experience, and people just fall in love with them as they go on a journey. But with Canada, as you mentioned, their third World Cup, they fared well in Copa America, the only North American side, CONCACAF side, that made it out to the knockout stage. Without the emergence and the uncertainty of Alphonso Davies, I just feel like they're missing a little bit firepower to get these 3 points. So I'll go with the draw here. It could be 0-0, it could be 1-1, but I can see both these sides getting a point from this one.
Take a word of warning from someone who follows Italian soccer. Do not take Bosnia lightly, especially a Bosnian team that, as Master pointed out, has a tough schedule ahead of them. They need a result from this match in particular to be able to go to the places they want to go. Let's turn our attention to the U.S. Out in your former neck of the woods, Los Angeles, Paraguay, USA. Now, a big injury to Paraguay that'll certainly affect this. But, Master, I'm worried about this game because the U.S. has been trying to play with teams and take the attack to them, leaving them susceptible to a counterattack, and that plays right into Paraguay's hands.
Yeah, it does. And I'll actually be at this match. So I'm really excited to see how this U.S. side looks with that back five they've been playing with Anthony Robinson and Serginho Dest that have created a ton of chances and truly outshot Germany in this last friendly they had. But I think as you talk about Julian and Ciso, more than likely missing this match, which is a huge loss for Paraguay, arguably their best player. Chris Richards' uncertainty with his injury also has me concerned for the back line of the U.S., which I just do not have the same confidence in Tim Ream or Miles Robinson or whoever else they have filling in at those center back positions, along with the uncertainty that you have with goalkeeper, whether it is Matt Freese or Matt Turner. Though that is a huge area of weaknesses for this U.S. men's national team side.
When have we ever entered a World Cup not knowing who our number one goalie is? That is just not a situation.
It's not. Having said all that, though, I liked what I saw from the crowd in Chicago. Hopefully this whole ticket situation can be settled and that we can get a packed house at SoFi. I think U.S. finds a way to get 3 points here. I really do. I think
better
from the chances they've been able to create. I know, but Paraguay's going to come in. They're going to make it physical. We know how come the ball can be. We know how Paraguay was trying to make it out of World Cup qualifiers. This is going to be a tough physical team that's really going to try and punch the U.S. in the mouth. Mm-hmm. And so it's all going to be dependent on how they respond to that and how they respond to the pressure of being the host nation that it's finally here. But
well, with recent history as our guide, these two teams did play recently, and the U.S. responded quite well to that physicality. So in that sense, I'm kind of happy that we have Paraguay as our first opponent over there because that'll be able to force our team to tap into some fighting spirit, get the crowd behind them a little bit, have the blood boiling. I think that's good in match one.
I think it is too, and I could see this that friendlies you talked about between U.S. and Paraguay, it finished 2-1. I can see that same result happening here. I think I could see U.S. winning 2-1. It's just hard for me to believe if Chris Richards is not there in the goalkeeping situation that this team is capable of holding a clean sheet against a tough and physical Paraguay squad, even if Enciso doesn't play.
All right, we head over to Saturday, June 13th. I think in terms of match day one, this one is about as easy to predict as any. Switzerland against a former host, Qatar. Switzerland laden with veteran players, names that you recognize playing for this team. They have their identity, they have their roster cohesion, and we fully expect them to take all three here.
Yeah, I would think so as well. Qatar, it's a huge accomplishment for them making it back to the World Cup, obviously making it in 2022 as a host nation, but becoming the only host nation ever to not make it out of the group stage, which obviously they'd love to find a way to make up for that in 2026. But going through the qualifiers in Asia and making it back is a huge accomplishment for them as they continue to try and establish themselves as a footballing nation. But Switzerland's just going to be too much here. It's just the quality of the talent that they have with Ruben Vargas, with Mbolo and Doi, Noah Okafor. There's just a lot of quality players here, and of course, Granit Xhaka. I can't hard to forget to mention him. There's just too much talent on this side. I think Switzerland handles them very effortlessly here, and I think Qatar is probably someone that finishes last in this group as a result of that.
Brazil-Morocco is a fascinating match, not just because it's Ancelotti's Brazil, and Brazil usually performs really well in North American tournaments, but talent-wise, this is about as weak a Brazilian team, and hanging a lot of hopes on an injured Neymar that, on merit, probably doesn't even deserve to be on the roster. I know I'm a Chelsea guy and I'm biased here, but it seems as though leaving João Pedro home is going to be a big mistake. I don't get that decision.
No, it's not.
I don't get the decision at all. I think he should be starting. He certainly shouldn't be at home. Rafinha has been unbelievable this year. I think they're going to get their goal-scoring punch more from the midfield, especially with no João Pedro. Don't let your Arsenal bias show here. However, Morocco, not a fluke. Really talented. Perform well in international competition. They're in the midst of their own golden generation, and they have proof of concept. They've done this recently. They went very far in the last World Cup. This is a sneaky play for a draw, a sneaky play for an upset, I think. Brazil's going to get got in this tournament, and they may get got by an even lesser player. I don't think Morocco's now at the point where anyone takes them lightly, but if you're just going off a name brand recognition in this match, think twice.
I literally had Morocco winning this group up until this morning when I woke up and I saw Abde Ezzazzouli, who had a tremendous performance against Norway. He was subbed out at halftime, and it's apparent that he has a knee injury that could force him to miss the entire World Cup. And without his presence, I think that's a huge loss for Morocco, that they may struggle to find someone else that can replicate his creativity. Obviously, they got Brahim Diaz and they got Hakimi and they got Bouadi as well in that midfield. But what Ezzazzouli was able to create, it's just that moment of magic that he's able to produce that can really unlock Morocco from being this low block side that we saw in the 2022 World Cup that is sitting back, taking pressure and, trying to respond on the counterattack to being on the front foot. So if he's not available, I think that truly changes the ceiling for Morocco. But as you mentioned with Brazil, this is a very old Brazilian side that, Carlo Ancelotti's leaning on the veterans. But the one dynamic person, the reason why I think I'm not really concerned about João Pedro not being there is because they've got a young kid named Endrick that I feel like can be the game changer, can be the difference maker, as he scored in their last friendly. And he truly, in my opinion, he should be starting with Vinny Jr., whether they play in the 4-4-2 with the two strikers or they play in a 4-3-3 with Vinny on the left. Endrick should be starting over Igor Thiago. He is that much of a game changer. Even though as short as he is, he somehow still finds ways to find goals. He has a knack for it, and he can score in many ways. He will be the X factor for Brazil if they're able to start him. I don't think he starts in the first game, unfortunately, because Carlo Ancelotti is going to lean on his veterans. But seeing this matchup, seeing the absence of Ezzazzouli, I truly think this is a coin toss. I was leaning towards Morocco before the injury news I heard. Now I'm leaning towards a draw on this one. I truly think both teams will try to size each other up, as the result of this one is going to play a huge impact in terms of who wins this group at the end of the group stage.
Fascinating match, and I'm in prove-it mode when it comes to Brazil. They got to show me here in this tournament, which is a ridiculous thing to say. They're usually a pretty proven commodity.
No, they should. You're right. You're 100% right. They have to prove to me too. This is the worst Brazilian side we've probably seen in our lifetimes. So in terms of everyone thinking that they can go on a run, it's just hard for me to see that. But
in our lifetime, Master, they haven't had this type of figure at the manager position, though. This is a hugely respected manager who Vinny has performed well against. Not totally proven on this level. It's a fascinating dynamic for a Brazilian side, and I think we're going to learn a lot from match day one.
I think so too. I think we'll learn a lot about Brazil, and I think we're going to learn a lot about Morocco as well. I mean, they finished the runner-up in AFCON, whether you like to acknowledge that or not. They sacked their coach, and they're kind of retooling and repiecing themselves, trying to maximize this window. So there's a lot to prove for both of these nations in this first match at MetLife.
All right, I'm super excited. I've talked about this match pretty much every episode of Morally Abhorrent. Haiti versus Scotland. I'm in tune with all the friendlies. I'm singing Scott McTominay with a bicycle kick. I love the Scottish fans. I love this Haitian team and the way that they play. I think this game is going to be bonkers. And what we're staying up for, if you're in the UK time zone, Haiti versus Scotland, we're taking the over, pal.
The over.
Oh, I am taking the over. If you have watched Haiti play here recently, I think they are capable of worldies. They are capable of running. This team is very athletic. Pace, it'll be interesting to see how Scotland matches up with them. I also think, cards on the table. I got a future on Scotland finishing last in this group because that's a play. If you want the real value, you can take Haiti money line for the straight up upset there, but you get more juice if they finish last place. And for them to finish last place, they'd have to lose this game. So that's my logic there. Do not sleep on Haiti. This is a real good side. Scotland, though, name recognition on this roster, the likes of which we're not used to seeing.
Yeah, I completely agree. But I mean, again, there are a lot of players that we're seeing as well playing for Wolves and other places in Europe. And this is such a great moment for Haiti. You see how they came out in droves in Miami. And I expect, as much as we talk about the Scottish fans will show up and show out, I expect the same from Haitian fans. I think they're going to be packing these stadiums in red and blue at every single one of these venues. I even saw Young Thug and Quavo hanging out with the Haitian national team the other day on social media, which was like absolutely insane. But look, I don't know if I'll go with the over here, but I am very curious if Scotland finds themselves in a dogfight with Haiti. I think that's the worst case scenario for Scotland. Because more likely they'll be lining up in a 4-4-2. We'll probably see John McGinn making it in the starting 11 with McTominay. And so they've got quality there in their starting 11. But will they be able to go toe for toe and match Haiti's intensity, Haiti's ability to withstand the heat and the conditions, all of the circumstances of which this Haitian national team is so accustomed to because they play here often. So that is my biggest concern with Scotland. I see them complain all the time here in the UK about the heat and the weather conditions when it's 80 degrees out here. Will they be able to withstand the outdoor conditions at Gillette Stadium, regardless of what it looks like, the humidity? I might go Haiti here, man.
This is my upset special.
I think Haiti can pull this off. I really do. And I could see this being a slugfest in the first half. And the longer that it stays that way, Haiti can sneak out and get a counterattack goal. And this could finish 1-0 Haiti very easily.
All right. Well, you and I both have an eye towards Haiti there, and one of the more interesting sicko delight matchups that there is. Turkey, I was asleep when they decided to change the branding, but I'm going to call them whatever they want to be called. I guess it was told to me that they were sick and tired of being the second result when you Google Turkey. I get it.
Yes.
Second,
yes.
obviously, to hair transplants, not the bird. They take
shout out to Head of Istanbul. I'll be there soon.
Same note too. Australia, cagey team. Some players, more of a team that just knows its identity and knows what it has to do. They're never going to outplay you on the pitch. They're going to win by being organized and not conceding. They have a good goalkeeper. Turkey should win this game. They have more talent. I expect them to win this game after maybe a gritty start.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the biggest question with Turkey is going to be whether they can keep their shape and remain, disciplined defensively. Because, I mean, we know with Arda Güler and Kenan Yildiz, they're going to have more talent. Nolu, they're going to have a lot of talent mixed with the young and the veterans that they have to be able to find the back of the net. It's just more so, can they remain disciplined on the back end to withstand some of the counterattacks, which, of course, Australia is going to be, seeking to find goals on the counterattack against Turkey. Will they leave themselves overexposed trying to find goals and chasing goals that Australia can pounce on those moments? So that is my biggest concern with Turkey. But I do think they find a way to get the 3 points here, and I think they have an impressive performance and make themselves give themselves as good of a shot as they can to try and win this group, which also features obviously USA and Paraguay.
Yeah, that's how I'm going to be watching this one. What kind of performance does Australia put up there? Because if Australia gets beaten down, you're going to be facing them next. a get-right performance where they are desperate for a point. That is not a great situation for a U.S. team that, again, can play into more cagey teams' hands a little bit. So watch that with a U.S. prism. I feel bad for Curacao. Well, number one, I feel great for Curacao. They seem really happy to be here. It's an amazing story.
It's amazing. It's an amazing, the smallest nation ever to make it to the World Cup. And it's a nation that is known for baseball, but through the diaspora, especially in the Netherlands, and I'm there often as well, and meeting them and the excitement that they have. Only one person is actually born from Curacao on this roster. The majority of them, if not all, the rest of them, born in the Netherlands. This is a wonderful story and a great opportunity to highlight a nation that, you know, it has overcome the odds and found a way through CONCACAF to make it to the World Cup. I think seeing them on a school bus and without air conditioning, just rolling down, windows down, like, it gives you the feeling of how we all played growing up. There's some core memories coming out as Curaçao's enjoying this experience. So I don't feel bad for them at all. But they will finish last.
Anything can happen in this tournament. Not that. I don't think that.
No.
But if they somehow score against Germany, absolute scenes. You never know. Someone can get a leg out there. You're up against 10. That's what this incredible tournament can provide occasionally. I just don't think it's going to happen here. I want to talk to you a little bit about this German side. I imagine you'll join us on a future episode, and we'll be talking about this German side later on in the tournament as well. Kai Havertz, to me, the comp for me, and I may be doing an Arsenal-Chelsea thing here, he's a lot like Olivier Giroud now. I think he has found this veteran game to him. He's got a little bit of old man game, timely scoring, kind of goes away during stretches of games. You wonder what he's doing out there, and then he's super efficient with his chances. I've become a big Kai Havertz guy, and I think he's gone from a punchline to knowing he was always in between midfield, attack. What is my role? He was always a man looking for a home, and now I think it's a little bit more clearly defined, and not unlike Olivier Giroud. I know what this guy is. I can count on him. He's gone from inconsistent to consistency, and I love to see it because he was a very good, nice young man, and a lot of things happened early in his career that would explain some of the struggles, but it seems as though he's finally found his rhythm.
Yeah, he's a false nine, and he's someone that the work rate, again, the physicality, he serves as a great threat for aerial duels. He can drop and receive passes and serve as a facilitator to create chances. He can be in the lower third, in the final third, and he can serve as, of course, for set pieces, as he did against the USA in the second minute, scoring on that set piece goal. And then, of course, he's always a threat to score a clinical goal, as he did for Arsenal in the Champions League final. He always shows up in big games, so he's someone that you just cannot discount. And there's a great connection that he has with Florian Wirtz that I think with him and Jamal Musiala, it's a great connection and tandem that they have between those three. However, my concern with Germany is Leonard Carl getting hurt. I thought that was a huge loss. I love seeing the teenagers that can take advantage of these opportunities with being on this big stage and really bursting onto the global stage. And I thought he was going to be one of those that everyone was going to talk about at the end of this tournament. And the midfield between him, Wirtz, and Musiala, I thought could compare and compete with some of the best midfields in this tournament. And unfortunately, he suffered a thigh injury and will miss the World Cup. So that's a huge loss for Germany. And also just figuring out what they do with the back end. Because as we saw in that USA friendly, the USA wasn't able to take advantage of a lot of those chances that they had outside of Jedi's Worldly that he had. But they are to be had. If you can create chances and you can be creative, that back line is not something that really most teams and most nations will be able to fear. So again, I'm not saying that Curacao is going to win this one, but I'm saying in terms of their long-term projections, but it's something to keep in mind for Germany, as some people view them as a dark horse. I do question whether they have enough in the back end to make a deep run in this tournament.
One of the great matches of match day one in their group, Netherlands, Japan. I have high hopes for Japan in this tournament. I think they can be a giant slayer once we get into the knockouts. I'm forecasting them to get out of the groups. I'm really curious to see how this match goes. Netherlands, name brand recognition, solid talent. They got the guy that is better in the international shirt than he is in the club scene in Memphis, still out there doing it. What is your take from this Netherlands-Japan match?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Depay even starts. I mean, do they go with Brobbey? I'm not saying Wout van Horst deserves to start, but he's being in consideration as well. I think they could potentially go with Brobbey up top to pair up with Cody Gakpo, who for some reason performs so much better in orange than he does domestically. But this is a very solid team that I think you can consider as a dark horse. And you look at their back line, and it's incredibly solid as well. Like that, this is a team. I saw the mathematician picking them to win the World Cup. I'm not going that far, but I'm going to pick them to win this one. And I know this is maybe a bit tricky because, as you mentioned, a lot of people are viewing Japan as like giant slayers this summer. Matoma's injury has me a bit down on them. I'm not going to lie. I'm a huge Matoma fan, and his hamstring injury that he pulled with Brighton towards the end of the Premier League season. Japan still has enough talent to come out of this group and finish
like Kubo. They got good pace to them. They're good with the ball at their feet. Yeah,
I agree. But
clinical.
Yeah. But I like Netherlands in this match, and I think they have a performance here that allows them to win this group, which is Group F with Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, and even Tunisia. It's going to be a very sneaky, interesting group in terms of how that plays out at the end of the group stage.
I mean, the matches on this day are unreal. Ivory Coast, Ecuador. I got them going for.
I cannot wait for this one.
I got them going far in this tournament. This one's huge for both teams here, as you're going to want a result in this match. Getting 0 points from this match puts you in a tough spot, even in an expanded World Cup. A lot of great players here, a lot of athleticism. Caicedo is probably the best defensive mid in the world for my money, and on the international level, he's a demigod even more so. What do you think is going to happen in this one?
This one is probably one of my favorite matchups of the group stage. Ivory Coast is a dark horse sleeper team with so much depth. When you talk about Amad Diallo, when you talk about Yan Diomande, who's supposed to be making a huge move to Liverpool potentially, you got Bissouma Toure on Hoffenheim, which I know you watch the Bundesliga, a young 20-year-old kid who can come off the bench and be a difference maker. Ivory Coast is a very, very deep squad that I think is not one to be played with. But Ecuador, I think, is one of the best defensive teams in this tournament. The best defense in CONMEBOL without question. But defensively, I find it hard to think that it's going to be, again, the attackers of Ivory Coast versus this stout defense of Ecuador. And it's a classic matchup of what is it, the immobile force versus the
irresistible object.
The object, yes. Yeah. I think I got a draw on this one as well. I'm leaning slightly towards Ivory Coast because I think they've got a bit more defensively than I think Ecuador probably has on the attack. So I could see Ivory Coast squeaking this one out with 1-0. Actually, you know what? I just talked myself into it. I'm going Ivory Coast 1-0 here. I think Ivory Coast find a way to just do enough to break down Ecuador and find a way to get a result in this one. But if Ecuador were to win this one, I would not be shocked at all. I think Ecuador is a tremendous team, and these two nations are going to be jockeying to try and win that group.
Yeah, I got Ecuador here 1-0, winning this game straight up. I just think what Ecuador does so well is going to frustrate a team that's going to, try to beat you with some style early on, and running into Ecuador on this continent where South American teams perform so well on this stage. I think Ecuador is a machine, man. They know exactly who they are, and they put a lot on Caicedo's shoulders defensively, and he always seems ready for the task. I just love this Ecuadorian team. I've got them going pretty far, and I think they send a message early with a victory over Ivory Coast. Sweden, I want to talk to you about this team. I want to talk to you about Sweden and Tunisia. Yeah, I already see your hand on your forehead here. A lot of uncertainty surrounding this Swedish team. I mean, if everybody is healthy and if everyone's putting their best foot forward, Sweden got a nice little squad that can make some noise. However, there are so many questions surrounding this team, and you don't want to do that against a team that knows exactly who they are and is tough to score against and drags you into the mud the way that Tunisia does. This could be scary, and this could get off to a real bad start for Sweden.
This can get absolutely scary because, as you mentioned, for whatever reason, Alexander Isak and Victor Gyökeres have just not been able to work well together in a front three. And then you've got Alenga as well on the right wing as well. You would think with the talent they have with Bergvall as well in the midfield. Kulusevski didn't make this roster, obviously, because of all the injuries and his lack of availability this season. But Graham Potter was able to turn things around, and they were able to qualify despite a disastrous qualification bid that they had. They made it through just off the strength of the Nations League, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. I don't think Sweden should be in this tournament, truth be told, but they are in this anyways. The one guy I will point out that just keep your eye on him. Taha Ali for Sweden. He's a left winger as well. He's Somali Swedish, plays for Malmo. This guy has techers galite, man. He is someone that can come in the match and can be the Ryan Cherky for Sweden and really give them and unlock some of their attacking issues that they may have or present themselves with. And I'm not sleeping on Tunisia per se. I think Tunisia, again, this is going to be a very competitive group and a sneaky group, and Tunisia absolutely can get a result here. I just think Sweden will find a way. At least that's what I'm banking on. Sweden will find a way. They'll get the 3 points here. They'll find a way to beat Tunisia. I'll go 2-1 here. I don't see them keeping a clean sheet because they concede very often. But I think Sweden can find a way with Isak, with Gyökeres, with Alenga, with Taha Ali to overpower Tunisia. Even though Tunisia is going to be very compact and they're going to be very disciplined, and Tunisia knows exactly what their identity is. It's just, will they have enough firepower to withstand what Sweden has to offer?
I don't know. Graham Potter, not that guy, pal, just from my experience.
So look at this Chelsea bias. God.
We can briefly touch on Spain. I think we expect Spain to just totally run through Cape Verde. But any Spanish takes you want to let go before we preview Belgium, Egypt there, Master?
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they're saying Lamine Yamal could be available now for the first match. I wouldn't want to rush him. And it'll be interesting to see with this midfield, as deep as they are. Obviously, Rodri and Pedri need to stay healthy. We haven't seen too much of them being able to play a full 90 minutes. So how long will they be able to go, and how will Luis de La Fuente try to manage their minutes in the group stage so that they are available during the knockout stage? But I wouldn't sleep on Cape Verde either. I'm not saying they're going to win this one as well, but again, another great nation with a great story. I saw them throughout qualifications. It's a very disciplined side that knows their identity, that knows who they are. They could sneak up and be one of these third place sides that gets in the knockout stage.
Belgium, Egypt, probably a match I wanted to see several years ago. Both of these teams in different places, but still fascinating because both teams are going to need something from this match. And yeah, you have Mo Salah in this one, and you have some legacy players from the leftover golden generation of Belgium that made it all the way to third place in the World Cup and played Brazil so brilliantly. What do you expect in this match?
Yeah, these are two sides that have been just annoyingly frustrating when you watch them in international competitions, where you've always expected more from them, even though obviously, as you mentioned, Belgium did finish third place in a World Cup. But with Egypt and Mo Salah, he has yet to win an international competition. Egypt went on a crazy run of winning AFCON before Mo Salah showed up, and then he shows up, and they just have not been able to win that tournament. And they had a disappointing exit once again in this past AFCON during the wintertime. And then with Belgium, I mean, they've still got some remnants and pieces with Kevin De Bruyne and obviously Lukaku, and Jeremy Doku was finding his form there late in the Premier League season. You've got Courtois back now as well at goalkeeper. So I expect them to win this group. I genuinely expect Belgium to win this group. And I think they should get these 3 points from Egypt here. I just don't think Egypt, every time I watch Egypt, I just do not think that they play to the competition a lot of times. And in this situation, I think Belgium can really overpower Egypt. My expectations for Egypt are very, very low, if you haven't found out.
Saudi Arabia takes on Uruguay. I believe this match is in Miami, Florida. Uruguay, not the same kind of team, recognizable names, but, vibes aren't great around them. And Saudi Arabia, they're not sneaking up on anybody. Obviously, last year, the upset of the tournament, arguably, over eventual champion Argentina. I think the home crowd here in Miami pushes Uruguay to new heights, and they can feed off of that for the rest of the tournament. I'm a little bit more bullish. I think the narrative's kind of gotten a little out of control with Uruguay's chances in this tournament. I favor the South American teams here. I think that they send a message early on here, and this is going to be a tough spot for Saudi Arabia, especially with that atmosphere.
I'm right there with you, man. I think that the narrative situation has gotten a little bit out of hand. I expect Uruguay they're still the feisty team. They're still going to be a very physical team. Both of these nations very understanding of the conditions. Uruguay, obviously, in Saudi Arabia, playing in the desert. So I don't think that'll play too much of an impact. But I'm banking on Uruguay here, and I think guys like Fede Valverde will be able to get these guys in line and in check. And once the matches start playing, then we'll be back in a position once we get to the final group stage match of, between Spain and Uruguay, as we all had expected this group to play out, as those two nations finishing 1-2 in this group.
We've seen war-torn nations go to international competition and give their people something to believe in, and they're sparked by it. We have a fascinating situation here in the United States with Iran in particular. They're taking on New Zealand. Not much is expected from New Zealand, one of the weaker sides in this tournament. Iran need a point here. If everything was on the up and up and there was no war, I'd like Iran to get out of this group, especially in this expanded World Cup. And they would do so on the heels of a good performance here in match day 1. I just don't know if they're even capable of it. I can't get inside their minds right now, but all the uncertainty with their travel and having to relocate their training grounds, not being able to fully train, because how could you possibly with all this on your minds? It's a fascinating situation. And when that whistle blows, it's going to be absolute scenes for Iran, which actually has a huge community here in the United States too. So I'm sure they'll get a fair amount of support. This goes beyond the game. This is about Tim Payne on one side, and this is about a war-torn nation right now in Iran that is actively at war with its host nation, with the World Cup host nation. What are you expecting from this match?
Yeah, and unfortunately for Iran, if you remember, Mike, 4 years ago when the U.S. was in the final group stage that they had in 2022,
was terrified needing a result against
Yes.
Iran. Terrified.
Yeah, it was terrifying, and there was also a backdrop there where the players there was protests going on all throughout Iran. I believe it was a woman protester that was killed, and the players weren't singing in the national anthem and essentially were threatened to do so. And so in that match, there was a political backdrop as it was, kind of forcing patriotism among the players or else having to deal with the consequences. And ultimately, it felt like it impacted their performance, as obviously Christian Pulisic scored with his midsection and the USA advanced out of the group stage into the knockouts. It feels like it's a kind of a totally different landscape now 4 years later, where this forced patriotism maybe isn't needed because of the endurance that they've had to deal with and the uncertainty and unfortunate situation that they find themselves in. I don't know how that will either unite or divide this group and locker room, and I'm curious what their sentiment is now, considering where they were 4 years ago and that backdrop. But as you mentioned, there's a lot of Iranians in the United States, and this match will be played in Los Angeles, which there's going to be a huge Iranian population that shows up for this match, as there is in Los Angeles. So I'd expect them to have the home crowd in this match. I'd expect them to have a huge turnout and a huge performance here, as you mentioned, with New Zealand, not only just with Tim Payne, but also Chris Wood and his impact that he can have as well on the counterattack. He's very clinical, very efficient, makes the most of his chances as he has, and I'm sure New Zealand will be trying to find ways to get him out and create some chances for him. But I'd expect Iran to come in and send a big message and get it 3 points here, and that will go a huge way towards, 3 points essentially can guarantee you a spot in the knockout stage, and I'd expect Iran to get that in the first game.
3 points would go a long way to what is statistically the most probable knockout opponent for the United States. It is a possibility, folks, that we get Iran versus the U.S. in this tournament. France versus Senegal is a match everybody was looking forward to once the groups were established in the draw. I'm going to be at this match, MetLife Stadium, potentially New York, totally on fire at that time, because if necessary, Game 6 of the NBA Finals is going to be going on the same day. This match should hopefully deliver end-to-end action, loads of talent on the pitch for both sides. Got to tell you, not thrilled with what I've recently seen from Senegal, the way that the U.S. took the fight to them. That was a recalibration. It was a recount. There were still some big-time players on the field for Senegal. Let's agree that it was a little unexpected how well the U.S. looked against Senegal, because I think you and I both agree the Senegal squad is a little bit more talented than the U.S., at least top to bottom, and high-end talent. Now, France, probably the most talented side in this entire tournament. An odds-on favorite, Kylian Mbappe, N'Golo Kante is still hanging around. I'm not sure if they're getting along, but neither of those might be the best or most important player for France. How do you see this tournament going for France, and what do you expect in this matchup in particular?
Yeah, France is incredibly talented, and a lot of the pressure's on Kylian Mbappe, or at least his pressure that he's putting on himself to be the man, to be the guy, that the center point, the focal point of this nation. But I mean, he's got so much talent around him. He's got Ousmane Dembele, he's got Desiree Doué, he's got Michael Olise, all of these incredibly talented players that he just needs to depend on and rely on. And we'll see if Kylian Mbappe is able to do that. But truth be told, Kylian Mbappe has scored 12 goals in the last 2 Men's World Cups, more than any other player in the tournament in that stretch. So as much as we like to say other players need to step up, we know that Kylian Mbappe at the end of the day will make this team go as far as they're capable of going. My concern with France, though, is their backline. I don't think their fullbacks are capable of stopping some of the best wingers in the world. You're more likely going to have Teo Hernandez starting on the left, and right now with Malo Gusto, I think is going to be on the right side, unless they put Zaire Emery at right back. And then the center back situation, if Saliba has these injury concerns and he's not able to play, then you're relying on Konate and Upamecano, who I think are very questionable center backs to have. You still got Lacroix, who I think is a tremendous center back, and actually I would start him over those two. But don't sleep on Senegal, bro. Do not sleep on Senegal. Whatever you saw in the U.S. match, it is a friendly. It was a rotated side. The Senegal team is deep. They have the chance to have the
wasn't
they have
just
the
a
chance to have the
friendly.
best.
It was the All-State Continental Classico. Come on.
Whatever, the balls are bouncy, whatever the case may be.
And you know what
Look,
made it a Continental Classico, right? The fact that they both play on continents, Master.
I did not know that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for the,
it's one of the more. Look, I'm all for shoehorning a sponsor into something, but the Continental Classico between Senegal and the United States, I'm gonna need that one explained to me.
Well, listen, here's my take. I would not be shocked if Senegal wins this group.
Wow. Both teams to score?
100% both teams to score. Absolutely both teams to score. And coming off of Ivory Coast beating France, I'm not sure why you're not leaning more into that result either and seeing how France has been a bit lackadaisical during these friendlies.
Look, we've seen in previous World Cups, you get some footage of some drama around the locker room and a bad result. These things can spiral, especially for a France team that has high expectations. So I'm with you. I don't think that I'm not totally bought in that this team can play up to what is expected of them. Mbappe is going to be going for the all-time goal-scoring record in this competition, is primed to do so. But we'll know early on.
Could this be 2002 all over again?
Could be. Could be. I mean, France is known to have the occasional clunker, but they've got overwhelming talent. Lots of talent on display in that match. Iraq and Norway, let's not spend much time on Iraq. I know that they've had their travel issues. Norway can score goals. They've got some talent, and they're avoiding the heat for the most part with their start times and locations here. You expect 3 points for Norway here, no doubt.
I expect 3 points from Norway, but I'm not really convinced on this Norwegian side. We just saw their midfield get completely dominated by Morocco yesterday. I think there's still an imbalanced side that has been the biggest issue for them and why they haven't been able to qualify for World Cups in the past, despite having Erling Haaland and Martin Odegaard. And I think it'll be a problem that continues to persist. I don't see them being a better side than France or Senegal, and I think they'll be fighting for that third place qualification spot. So they need these 3 points, and that'll go a long way for them to advance into the knockout stage. But I don't see them going any further than that.
Depends if there is a game 6, but my attention right now is going to be totally locked in on Argentina, Algeria, because Argentina, a little longer in the tooth, still counting on the same players. Are they capable of dialing up that same effort? I think Emi Martinez certainly is capable. I think Messi is certainly capable, provided he is fit. But I'm not just talking about those guys. I'm talking about very important role players for them. I don't know if they still got it. And Algeria, on the international scene, usually a tough nation, lots of talent comes from that country. This could be a good one, at least early on, before Argentina pulls away. I do expect Argentina to win, but I expect Algeria to be as tough as they usually are in these competitions.
I tend to agree with you on this one. But I know you're questioning Enzo Fernandez. This goes back to your Chelsea bias and Alexis McAllister.
He's a great player.
Yeah, I'm sure for whatever fee you're trying to get for him, I'm sure he's
going to be a great player for Real Madrid, provided we get Valverde in return.
There's something about these Argentine players, though, man. when they put on that jersey and they're wearing that crest and they're the weight of that kit, I mean, they become superheroes. And there's something to be said about their willingness to continue playing for Messi, whether it is the best thing for them or not, considering how they play without him. I still feel like this is going to be a dangerous Argentina side. And despite the talent that comes out of Algeria and how well that nation is in terms of a footballing nation in Africa in particular, I expect Argentina to pull away from this one, and I could see a 3-1 result here.
Austria doesn't have the casual names that soccer fans would recognize right off the jump, but if you follow the sport, you know that they have some very good players, and they will be tricky to play against in this tournament. I think they send a message right away to Jordan. That says probably a little bit more about Jordan, but I rate this Austrian side. What do you think their chances are in this match and then beyond that?
Yeah, I think they should be able to run away with this one here. With all due respect to Jordan, a nation which I watch very often in their qualifications and also in the Asian Cup, and they've always found ways to make some good runs in that tournament. But with some of the experience and the leadership that we talk about Austria having, it's just hard for me to see another scenario other than Austria just completely dominating this match. I really do. In terms of their situation, I don't know. I'm not really that convinced with them. Like, I think they'll do well in this group, but beyond that, I mean, you're still relying on David Alaba to be your captain and someone that has gone on and off with his injuries. And, obviously you got Sabitzer and you've got Chukwuemeka as well. And, some other players that, again, Ardanovic, like, again, he's 37 years old. Like, it's fine. It's pretty much how I feel if Poland made this tournament as well. It's fine. It's enough to get you through the group stage, but I can't see them going any further than that.
Portugal, DR Congo. This game could be fun. I have Portugal right now as my champion, and I think that they have a real good squad top to bottom. Most American fans that are checking in on soccer every 4 years, their eyes are going to go to Cristiano Ronaldo's name on the team sheet and not realize really like the massive amounts of talent behind him. Quite honestly, I do think there is a community in soccer. They're mostly made up of Messi fans that think Ronaldo is probably the only thing that can get in this team's way for a deep run right now. Recent clips would suggest he's struggling to fit in, but he's such a cult of personality that you got to put him in the team sheet, right? What do you think is going to happen in DR Congo versus Portugal?
Yeah, I've been banging the drum on Portugal now for, a year plus, going back to the Nations League final this time last year. Even banging the drum that I thought Vitinha was the best holding midfielder last year over Pedri. Yeah, and he has proven
I agree with you.
He's proven me nothing but being absolutely spot on with that. Vitinha has been absolutely exceptional. And that midfield, Portugal has the best midfield in the world and in this tournament, with Bruno Fernandes coming off of the player of the season campaign in the Premier League for Manchester United, Joao Neves and Vitinha, once again winning back-to-back Champions League winners, trophies. They are absolutely exceptional in the midfield, and I think their backline as well is a bit underrated considering how they're being perceived. It's all about what they can get from the wingers in terms of their performances. And yeah, with Cristiano Ronaldo, everyone's going to talk about him and talk about his ego and how much of a force he's going to be for this team. There's nothing more he needs to do in this side except just be in the box. That's it. And if he's a goal poacher for this team, as he has shown in the Nations League as well, and someone that can step up and take pins for them, that is pretty much all they need from him.
Master, let me drill this down, though. Do you think he's capable of just being in the box, or do you think he's going to want to step in front of that ball, hike his shorts up, and take a kick and sail it 3 rows over the net and take a kick that should be going to someone else?
I mean, yeah, potentially. I can see that. And considering there's other free kick specialists that they have on that side that should be able to do that, yeah. But again, he's still in great condition. He's still in great shape. Yeah. I think some of it's been a bit overblown. I think it's a bit of it. I think the Ronaldo aspect of it has just been overblown a bit. Truth be told, I think it just stems from the fact that people have wanted to believe in Portugal time and time again for this World Cup, and each time they let you down. And maybe I'm saying we, but I'm really speaking of me, because every single time I see this Portuguese side and I see the talent, and I'm expecting big things out of them, and then they get knocked out disappointingly because they can't break down a Moroccan side in the last World Cup, and time again they have fallen short of the expectations of this team, making it to the World Cup final and potentially lifting the World Cup trophy. Having said that, I wouldn't sleep on the DR Congo. This is still a team that has a lot of talent. Jan Vista, unfortunately, had a disappointing season with Newcastle. He's still a tremendous talent. You got Wan Bissaka as well, who's a dynamic wingback as well that can create challenges and problems for this Portuguese side. When you talk about Nuno Mendes and the, trying to step up and maybe being a bit more attacking, they can try and catch them on the counter. So I expect Portugal to win this one, but I can expect DR Congo to have a pretty nice qualification round and be one of the teams and nations fighting for a third place spot.
England, Croatia. Croatia, I thought they were too old a World Cup ago, and they performed really, really well there. One last ride for their core. England, I'm sure you know plenty about this game and plenty about this squad. Two big-time brands here. England, loads of expectation. They need to get all 3 points, I think, in this match.
Yeah, I think so too. Just to send a statement, Thomas Tuchel made some, eyebrow-raising decisions in terms of his roster, leaving off Cole Palmer and leaving off some other players in which people thought Phil Foden that maybe deserved to be on his team. But he's been very pragmatic, and he's someone, surprise, surprise, the German being pragmatic. But every single person that's on his team, he's been very methodical and thinking about, what situations can present themselves in this World Cup, and do I have an answer for that? And I think that's just probably the best approach you can take as a coach, because the World Cup will challenge you and will present so many questions as other managers and nations are trying to find your weaknesses. And Thomas Tuchel has taken a holistic macro approach of saying, look, for every single potential challenge that we're facing, we will have a situation, a formation, a player, a tactic that we can turn to that could be a potential answer, along with finding answers as you go, even down to the fact of, how can you deal with the conditions and them having their own cooling systems that they funded to take care of that aspect of things. So I would expect England to win this one in Dallas at AT&T Stadium, or Cowboy Stadium, at Dallas Stadium as they're calling it now.
Dallas Stadium, yeah, that's right.
Dallas Stadium, sorry. Dallas Stadium in Arlington, Texas. I'm sorry. But this Croatia side, man, I feel like they've got us right where they want us, man. Every single time we want to doubt this Croatian side, they just come out with their backs against the wall, and it's almost like a position they just love being in. And I'm not saying that this Croatian team can make a deep run or not, but even I have found myself questioning them, and I have truly admired this entire generation. But when you're relying on a 40-year-old Luka Modric to find goals for you, it doesn't necessarily equate to the best formula to success. But every single time we have questioned and doubted Croatia, they have found ways through this generation to get results, to find ways to go on deep runs. They have finished second and third in the last two World Cups. I don't know how far they go in this one, but if this team somehow able to make it to a semifinal, we have to start putting them in the conversation of one of the greatest generations we've ever seen in World Cup history.
No doubt. No doubt. Ghana is a team historically that Americans don't want to see in a World Cup. Panama, historically, a team that Americans just don't want to see flatly because they're a nightmare team. And I think you need to explain to the folks across the pond that Panama's not some rollover opponent here. This could be an upset special. I actually think Panama has an opportunity here to win this match and get into the knockout stages. I like Panama a lot. Please fight on behalf of CONCACAF over at the Talk Sports Studios, because this could be a good one.
Bro, I have been telling the English sides, because we've had a lot of people come on the show like knocking and dissing Panama, and I keep telling them, I'm like, bro, you don't want to get CONCACAF'd. And I'm telling you right now, Panama will put a fight up, and if you're not prepared for this, they will punch you in the mouth, and you will be absolutely stunned beyond belief. And I say that while saying I do agree with you. I think Panama does win this game. I think Ghana, along with South Africa, are probably two of the worst African nations in this World Cup, truth be told, out of the 10 nations that are in it. Put this in perspective, Ghana hasn't won a match since October 2025. They lost to Japan, South Korea, South Africa, Austria. What's that, 4 matches already I'm talking about right now. And you add on to the fact that they've lost to Germany, Mexico, and just drew with Wales. So in their last 7 matches, Ghana has not gotten a victory at all. I think this Ghana team is coming in with some bad vibes. I don't think it's as talented of a Ghanaian side as we're accustomed to seeing. They didn't make it in AFCON qualifiers. They were able to salvage themselves, making it through African World Cup qualifiers to win the group and make it to the World Cup. But I truly expect this Ghanaian side to finish last in this group with England, Panama, and Croatia. I truly think that they're not up for the task, and they will be humbled very quickly in this tournament by a Panamanian side that, yeah, they lost 6-2 to Brazil, but in that first half, it was a very tightly contested match before Brazil basically just subbed out their entire team and brought in their second squad, which obviously is a bunch of world-class players as well. This game being in Toronto, potentially the conditions as well being involved, I think Panama runs away with this and they get 3 points.
And in closing, the final match that we're going to preview here, I guess these are my little side pieces in this tournament because Italy is not in the tournament, but I got Fabio Cannavaro coaching Uzbekistan, and I live in Miami, and Colombia is always going to be my little side piece on the side because, I mean, how can you not love a good Colombian party? I'm even going to Guadalajara for Colombia, DR Congo later in the tournament. Uzbekistan can make it a rock fight. Colombia excels in rock fights. I expect Colombia to win this match, but it may take a minute for them to score. What do you think is going to happen in this match, Master?
Yeah, I think Colombia, I think they'll have a huge performance here against Uzbekistan. Again, another Asian side that I feel like is a great story for them to be here, but Colombia is primed to have a huge World Cup, especially with being able to have the Colombian crowd that will be behind them, that will be following them throughout. We know there's a huge Colombian diaspora all across this beautiful nation of ours as well, and a lot more that will be traveling in as well. I think this Colombian side will be dangerous. They'll be lethal. They'll be a side that you just do not want to face. And it's setting us up to have a fantastic group stage situation between Portugal and Colombia to see who tops this group. But I think Colombia sends a huge message in this one and beat Uzbekistan very, very handedly, unfortunately.
Well, great previewing all the first matches of this tournament with Master Tesfazian. Check out his good work on TalkSport, the S Word, available on YouTube and on podcast. Master, we'll see you again, buddy, on Morally Abhorrent. Thank you once again for taking the time out to talk some soccer with me and show the world that Americans know what they're talking about.
See you soon, my friend, and enjoy this World Cup. Because all the nonsense and all the negativity you're going to hear, it's not nonsense, but it's a lot of negativity. We've been waiting on this for a long, long time. It's here. I do not remember 1994. I will soak up every single second and every single moment of this, and I know you will as well.